Truth seekers, exposing the truth. Truth seekers, coming for you. Truth seekers, exposing the lies. Truth seekers, open your eyes. They lie again. Have you had your fill? Let go of lies. Take your second red pill. I know you've had your fill. It's time to take your second red pill. I know you've had your fill. It's time to take your second red pill. I know you've had your fill. It's time to take your second red pill. Truth seekers, exposing the truth. Truth seekers, coming for you. Truth seekers, exposing the lies. Truth seekers, open your eyes. It's time to take your second red pill. I know you've had your fill. It's time to take your second red pill. Truth seekers, exposing the truth. Truth seekers, coming for you. Truth seekers, exposing the lies. Truth seekers, open your eyes.
Greetings and salutations, friends, and welcome back. Today, we're sort of doing a part two of the show we did yesterday. Yesterday, we focused primarily on the scam that is Stevati Aerospace and also the scam that is David Wilcock's so-called charity, in which it appears from his own paperwork, he spent most of the money he collected on himself, giving a portion of it to other charities. But we didn't get to cover the clips, which I know a lot of you wanted to hear me react to the various completely and totally fictitious, false, fake, made up allegations. So far, David Wilcock has accused me of calling animal control on him. That wasn't me. He's accused me of calling animal control on him about feeding the moose. That wasn't me. He's accused me of getting him swatted, but we know from the body cam footage and the police reports is he was never swatted. He made that up. And the fact that this lunatic like normal people have some level of shame or embarrassment when they get caught lying to a 500,000 people. This man has absolutely 100% no shame whatsoever. You would think after we felted him so goddamn hard with the fake swatting claims, right, that he would back off and say like, oh, maybe I shouldn't make up fake shit about this guy because he'll make me look like a dumbass. Because that's what we did, David Wilcock. We made you look like the lying scumbag that you are. And here's where we get into the part where I think it's consumer fraud. He lied to a 500,000 subscriber audience, telling them that he got swatted by this evil guy named Steven. And this, in my opinion, is a ploy to make people feel sorry for him and give him more money. This is very typical. All these scammers act like they're under constant threats and constant attacks because their information is so important. Stephen Greer does it. Now we see Wilcock. For sure, we've caught him. How many times, right? Remember when somebody cut the brakes on his car? Then it turned out his wife was driving the car, not him. You know, he was under deep state attack. And remember, there were some ninjas from, what was it, the Golden Phoenix or Golden Dawn Society in Japan or something, sent ninjas to his house to assassinate him, and he had to call Carrie Cassidy and cry on her radio show. This man is completely and totally unhinged and ridiculous. But back to the no shame part, we caught you lying to 500,000 people. You were not swatted. There was no swatting. You would think that he would apologize, Mr. Spiritual Guru, Mr. Spiritual Guru who lies to people constantly for money. What kind of a spiritual guru lies for a living? This man is no spiritual guru. He is a despicable, disgusting, scamming, grifter, low-life scumbag. That's who he is. And it's interesting that the accusations against me keep getting more grand and more grand and more grand, and this is the hallmark, my friends, of a pathological liar. He never showed any proof that he was swatted. Oh, he showed the card that was left on his door. That's not proof of swatting, David Wilcock. That's proof that a woman left a card on your door because at I believe it was 3:30 in the afternoon. You were in your bedroom sleeping at 3:30 in the afternoon. Like, wow, way to go get him. Get up at 3:30 in the afternoon and start your day, right? So he's provided no proof of that I called animal control. In fact, we provided proof of who did call animal control, proving it wasn't me. He's provided no proof he got swatted, but we provided proof he never got swatted. He's provided no proof. The latest is first he said I stole $4,000 from his bank account, but like a typical pathological liar, the story gets bigger and grander and more details get added each time he tells the lie. So first I stole $4,000 from his bank account. The latest is now I stole $7,700 from his bank account. He has accused me, and by the way, he's provided no proof that I had anything to do with anything going on with his bank account. But what we do know is he's claiming that somebody hacked into his bank account and stole $7,700 from him, and yet he didn't file a police report. Now, I just want to ask you in the live chat, if somebody broke into your bank account by whatever means and stole $7,700, wouldn't you go to the police? Any reasonable person would go to the police and file a police report. I was just on the phone today with the Boulder County Sheriff's Office, and who, by the way, they're laughing at this guy. They're laughing at this guy making up all this fake shit. There's no police reports for money stolen out of his bank account. There's no police reports for he claimed that I'm threatening his life and I'm sending him death threats. There's no police reports for that. If you were truly afraid and someone was honestly sending you real death threats, wouldn't you go to your local police department, at least fill out a report? Because God forbid if that person follows through with their threats, at least there'd be some record of the threats and maybe the police could track down whoever was responsible. You know, there's no police reports. He's also claimed that I tried to extort money from him or Stavati. There's no police reports of that. Now he's claiming I'm sending suspicious packages to people, but he's provided no evidence, no proof whatsoever. He's saying I'm attacking all these truthers. Bring them on your show, David Wilcock, you pathological lying scumbag. Prove it. Bring every person I'm sending death threats to onto your show. Don't you want to felt me? Don't you want to show that boy, I just had one of those oh my god moments. I haven't taken my wedding ring off since I got married, and I reached down and I grabbed the wrong finger. I don't know why. I just touched my hand and I thought my wedding ring was gone, and my instant thought is, oh my god, my wife's going to kill me. No, it's there. We're okay. Okay, so this whole thing is just so completely ridiculous. I thought there was a lot more clips to get through, but tonight we're going to keep it very short and sweet and just go through the clips that are there. For some reason, I thought there was a lot more clips. We really should have done this last night, but honestly, I'm a little bit burnt and spent. We have been moving. I've been moving my set to the other alternate streaming location due to environmental problems. You know, it gets too hot here. So we've set the goal. I'm checking in on this. There's no super chats to read so far. I'll be reading them as we go through. So don't be shy. Just so you're aware, we read every single super chat. We thank every single person who becomes a channel member or who, who gifts True Seekers memberships here on YouTube or gifts a sub on Kick. We thank that we thank all of you. I thank each one personally, so don't be shy. We'll give some shout outs to the people that are here. We have Garage G. MDD is a bitch, and he says David should just give up the grift and start growing cucumbers on his land for sale. Shout out to Kisa, Jupiter's Madness, Richard Warner, King of Hugo Mundo is here, Archaic Revival, Arlene Atkins, our wonderful mod, is here as always, Jupiter's Madness, Salty Pug is here. Richard Warner is here. Science, Evidence, and Fringe is here. James Pond is here. Mr. Protractor is here. Mr. Sauce is here. James Pond, I mentioned. Rugged Source. We have Take a Picture. Says Suffer Wilcock. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. We have Glenn Thomas is here. Mr. Sauce is here. Spooky is, of course, here for once. Kevin Alt is here. Jay is here. Daniela K is here saying, hey, I see you there. And we have, what is that? I Haunt You is here. Plan D is here. So big shout outs and thank you to the members of the live chat. Elsa is here. If I missed you, I apologize. I'll try to. Mark Hammond is here as well. So if I missed you, I apologize. We're going to just get right into the clips. This is just ridiculous. Now I'm sending suspicious packages. And, at some point, Wilcock, what do you think is going to happen? Are your morons that follow you this retarded that they don't understand that if any of these things were happening, I would be sitting in a jail cell? And what do you think's going to happen when I'm never investigated and never arrested for any of this stuff? Because it's all from the land of make believe, right? But here's what's happening. Oh, and by the way, last night was interesting. David Wilcock was in a space with Shadows of Ezra. So I try to go in the space and confront him. They wouldn't let me speak. I put my hand up 27 times. I requested to speak 27 times. And there had to be something going on behind the scenes. I messaged the hosts of the space and said, hey, are you going to let me speak or is this an echo chamber? So some bunch of truthers, right? We're here for the truth. Whoa, we can't let that guy talk in our space, right? Why is that? Are they cowards? And then I even messaged Shadows of Ezra, and told him that David Wilcock is saying that Shadows of Ezra is Ezra Cohen, is going to become the new DIA director and get me arrested. Shadows of Ezra is like, don't bother me with drama. This has nothing to do with me. I'm like, it has everything to do. He's saying you're Ezra Cohen. By the way, there are recordings, David Wilcock, you dumb dickhead, of Shadows of Ezra speaking in spaces. Compare that voice to known voice samples of Ezra Cohen. It's not the same voice, you dumb dickhead. Shadows of Ezra is not Ezra Cohen, you dummy. And he's also not the Alliance communications director. You know how I know? Because the Alliance doesn't exist. It was made up by your con artist, fake secret insider, Pete Peterson, who was a con man and a con artist. Moth Loves Detracting is here with one for the goal. It is insane that Wilcock claims he can build an airplane that can go over Mach 4, but the Concorde is the fastest passenger jet that went only Mach 2. Yeah, you're right. None of this makes any sense. He's going to do better than the people that built the Concorde, though. Don't you know, Moth Loves Detracting. He's going to do better than Boeing, better than Northrop Grumman, better than Lockheed Martin. They're going to build a better plane than all those companies that have been in business for 50 plus years each, I think, and have all produced thousands of, very incredible aircrafts. But he's going to do better than all of them. And, like we started tonight's broadcast, the rainbow, the rainbow is powering the hover cars. The hover cars may as well be powered by rainbows. Because, that would be more believable than David Wilcock figuring out anti-gravity. But thank you, Moth Loves Detracting. Archaic Revival says, I don't know who Shadows of Ezra is, and I'm good with that. That's the guy that David Wilcock is stealing half of his content. Half of his content now is just reading Qtard posts. But don't worry, the mass arrests are coming soon. He was talking about him in the space. Back to the spaces. So I go into the space, and all of a sudden, David Wilcock just drops from the space. And I know why. It's because he's a pussy and he saw me. He saw my avatar. He saw me in the space and he ran like a little bitch. He cannot withstand being confronted by me. He ran like a little bitch that he is. He ran like a bitch. I'm sure as soon as he saw me in the space, he dropped off because he was speaking very frequently in this space, and then all of a sudden he just dropped out of the space. He didn't say goodbye to everybody. He was conversing so nicely with the other morons in the Q-tard space. He didn't say goodbye. He didn't say, hey guys, thanks for having me. Nothing. He just dropped right out of the space. And I know why. It's because he saw me in the space. And they made me just be a listener. They would not give me the mic. They would not give me the mic. I talked to one of the hosts of the space afterwards, and he said, hey, I'm sorry, I didn't see you. I had no idea that you wanted to talk or what. You know, he was very nice. And he promised me that if Wilcock is ever in a space that he's hosting again, he's going to let me confront him. So, hey, David Wilcock, if you're in a space again, there's a good chance that I'm going to get to confront you about all the lies you've been telling and about all the false accusations and false allegations. I've got a screen capture recorder at the ready, just waiting for you to be in a space. I've told everybody I know that's into spaces, if you see David Wilcock in a space, let me know, because I want to go into whatever space he's in and I want to confront him. And of course, David Wilcock spent most of his time in that space licking Shadows of Ezra's balls. That's what you were doing in that space, David Wilcock. You were licking a Q-tard's balls. Congratulations, you loser. All right, so we're going to just put up our fair use banner. And yeah, this is fair use, a transformative work. We're educating the public. We'll be critiquing the video that we are sharing, and this is certainly covered under fair use and is allowable by law. So let's, my friends, begin our journey into David Wilcock's insane accusations. It's just one of those things that, you know, and I got to tell you, it's all fun and games, but it is a little stressful having a guy tell 500,000 people. Well, it's more than a little stressful. It's a lot stressful having this guy tell 500,000 people, oh, this guy's a terrorist. Oh, that's another thing. He accused me of terroristic activities. You know, in today's climate, if you're going to accuse somebody of doing terroristic activities, you might draw the attention of the government onto that person. So you better have some evidence of it. And God help you, David Wilcock, if like Homeland Security or anybody comes and hassles me because of your disgusting, despicable false allegations about me. All right, let's get into the clips, friends.
My boy looks like 007 today.
No, you look like a gay, bald version of 007.
Well, if somebody's going to give me a Sizzle jacket, I have to wear it. I feel sort of obligated to do that as my own.
He thinks this is a good look. It looks like you got that at a thrift store from some guy that, you know, it's his old prom outfit.
As I've said, I will work for Sizzle Jackets. This is what I mean. So thank you, guys.
Soon you're going to be working for hot dog money, dude. You're going to be working for food soon.
And I was very honored, actually.
Oh, this one's great. When we talked before about, you know, and I always have to preface this by saying, like, I'm not a psychiatrist or a psychologist, but you can read the signs of narcissistic personality disorder. All major people with that disorder, they have a very bloated sense of self-importance. And we've heard in the past that David Wilcock has claimed that, like, television shows are using him as a character but not giving him credit and stuff like that. Now he's claiming that the Flash movie, they stole his ideas to make the Flash movie with Michael Keaton, which, by the way, I thought it was a pretty good movie. I would have done away with the doubles, though. Why have two Flashes? I wouldn't have done the doubles, but I liked seeing Michael Keaton in the bat suit again. The Supergirl was okay, but a sad ending to her. Interesting alternate take on Supergirl. I like that movie. Anyway, it's interesting. David is claiming that the people who wrote and produced the Flash movie stole all the ideas for that plot in the movie from him.
And I was
Like, how big of an ego do you have to be that you watch a movie and you go, yeah, the Hollywood stole that from me?
very honored, actually, when the superhero movie The Flash, here's this guy who's the superhero called The Flash, and he's like a nerdy kid, and his whole big secret is that he has to run fast enough to cross the light speed boundary. And then when he does, he can time travel. So there is literally a whole superhero movie that somebody took the David Wilcock information and didn't give me any credit, which is fine. But, you know, I love seeing...
As if he invented the concept that if you go faster than the speed of light, you can travel in time. That's Einsteinian physics, you dumbass. I think. I mean, I think that idea has been around in science fiction for forever. He's claiming that the Flash movie people stole it from him.
This kind of stuff get out there into the zeitgeist and become part of what's going on. So this actually makes much more sense.
Oh, yeah. It makes sense that Hollywood, with all their vast resources, would just steal the idea for the Flash movie from you. You know, at some point, you have to feel sorry for him, that he's this delusional and this narcissistic that he thinks Hollywood is stealing movies from him. My God. Next one.
7 Geometric Thought Forms, who gave me this jacket, just donated. Thank you very much.
Okay, so he's getting... This guy's so broke, he can't afford wardrobe. He's so poor and broke that he has to beg for free jackets, looks like from a thrift store. Like, is he going to thrift stores and begging for free jackets to wear on stream? Like, it appears that way. It really, really appears that that's what he's doing. Great. Great, David Wilcock, you broke bitch. Can't even afford a jacket. And by the way, if you're going to wear a jacket, like, wear a decent one. Not a,
all right.
Something
So,
that makes
yeah.
you look like a gay hooker, right?
The Timcast does 60,000 live, says Futan Collective. Yes, of course there are people who do more than that. But Tim also does it every day. If I was willing to do that, if I had the time and the energy to do it.
Haha. Macario says he's upset after somebody says that, after saying he has the highest numbers, someone called him out. So Wilcock claimed in this recent stream that he has the highest numbers. And people are like, no, Timcast gets 60,000 live viewers.
All right. So, yeah, the Timcast does 60,000 live, says Futan Collective. Yes, of course there are people who do more than that. But Tim also does it every day. If I was willing to do that, if I had the...
You mean if you worked hard enough? Like, look, love Tim Pool or hate him, you know. I used to watch Tim Pool. In fact, I interviewed Ian from the Tim Pool show once here. Very nice guy. And and by the way, I was going to be on the Tim Pool show, but it kind of fell through. Long story. They wanted to get into the UFO thing, but when they heard it was all fake, they were not very interested anymore. But that still may happen someday. I still know Ian from over the Timcast show. But interestingly, yeah, love him or hate him, the guy works his ass off. And he works every day, and he does a show every day. Wilcock is so lazy that he spends all week making up nonsense slides of bullshittery, and then he does one show a week.
Time and the energy to do it every day, we could build it up. And remember, the highest live that I ever had, I think, was 48,000 watching live. So I've achieved those almost the same numbers before.
Yeah. What are your numbers now? You're barely able to scrape 5,000 people. And you're so proud of the fact that you're on the History Channel every day, but you still can't get more than a few thousand live viewers after doing this for decades.
But again, you really have to do this very reliably. But I'm working with the free energy company. We're actually trying to get these tech.
And remember, he's spending 40 hours a week on his charity, which does no charitable work. They write a check once a year to other charities. How does that take 40 hours a week? And hey, he's got to go to a board meeting where Stavati tells him the money's coming any day now, every week, right? So he doesn't have time to do more than one show a week. Yeah, right. You're a lazy slob.
Technology's out in the open, as I've said.
And he has no material. He's terrified of using new insiders because the last bunch of fake insiders he had were all frauds, and he got busted for it. We busted him for it. Pete Peterson was a fraud. Bill Brockbrader was a court-martialed PDF file. Emery Smith was just a falling down drunk liar. And of course, Corey Good got busted by us spectacularly with those depositions. He was a fake government insider. So he has no material because Wilcock's major thing was to interview so called insiders. He is paranoid that he's going to get caught with another fraud. So he can't have insiders. He has no material. He can't do a show every day.
Before, this is our SM-39.
Yeah, this is my plastic G.I. Joe toy.
It's a fighter jet that goes Mach 4. It's going to be the fastest, most badass thing ever made. And we are now in the process of pitching this and getting deals and orders coming in. So it's very, very exciting.
Yeah, sure. It goes Mach 4. At least that's what you said. You can't prove it'll go Mach 4 until you have a working prototype and can show us it going Mach 4. It's all just bullshit. His whole world is built on lies. David Wilcock's entire life is built on lies, like the lies he's telling about me, right? Oh, I'm so important. This guy's attacking me and cyber stalking me. He's sending me death threats. He's stealing money out of my bank account. He's terrorizing me. David Wilcock is being terrorized by the truth, and his grift is coming crashing down, and I'm here for it. I am here for it, and so are you,
Dr.
friends.
Kenneth Shoulders does is little bursts of static. You'll notice that when you get a static...
Oh, yeah. This is great. Macario says, David Wilcock might be the stupidest person I have ever seen. Listen, physicists can explain through actual science that when you get a little static shock when you touch a doorknob, it's due to static electricity. It has nothing to do with anti-gravity. But David Wilcock says that little spark pushes your finger back because of anti-gravity. In other words, he knows nothing about science. He knows nothing about real physics. He's a goddamn moron, this guy.
Dr. Kenneth Shoulders does is little bursts of static. You'll notice that when you get a static electric charge, that it pushes back on your finger. Like if you shock your finger on the door, you get a push. And that's actually gravity. That's gravitational propulsion.
No, that's called a reaction. Like, it's a reaction to pain or surprise is why your finger jumps back, you moron.
Again, forbidden physics. So the anti-gravity that we're going to be using, like, for example, this plane does use some of those principles in it.
Okay, show us it floating, David. If you know the secrets of anti-gravity, show us something with anti-gravity. Show us. Even if it's like a tabletop model in your garage. Show us that you really can create anti-gravity, you moron. This is a lie. Like I said, his whole life is built on lies. But remember, he had dreams and angels told him that he was going to be the modern day father of anti-gravity, like the Wright brothers. Again, with the bloated sense of self-importance. He's going to save the world with free energy and save the world with anti-gravity. There's just one problem. That's not real, David Wilcock, you moron. And you can't show us that it's real.
But the main thing we're going to do is make hover cars.
Yeah, he's been saying this for 4 years now, right? Or 3 years. He's been saying he's going to make hover cars for years. When he first came out with these claims and started talking about Stavati, he said within a year they'd have a working prototype. And he was saying that while he was selling a $333 anti-gravity course. And I think he said, oh, we'll have a working prototype in a year, so that people really believed that he could crack anti-gravity and give him the $333. Because remember, if you gave him the money for the anti-gravity course, he said, you'll be able to do it too. In other words, he scammed everyone, claiming that he could create anti-gravity and free energy. He hasn't proven that, but he took everybody's $333, and according to court deposition of Corey Good, he made over $1 million scamming stupid people out of their $333.
The hover cars are shooting out millions of these tiny little balls. And if you shoot the balls out away from the ship, they push off of the ship, but the ship is not inside the ball.
Notice David Wilcock is really fascinated by balls.
Then you don't travel through time. You only travel through time if you design an anti-gravity system where the ball entirely enshrouds the complete ship. So the secret is you got to make little tiny balls. You shoot them out.
Now he knows how to create time travel too. Wow, how impressive. This man can create free energy and anti-gravity, and he knows how to create a time machine. You know, like at some point you say, like, are you just absolutely fucking retarded, David Wilcock? Is that what's going on here?
Out like bubbles of champagne. They bounce against your ship and they push the ship forward, just like static pushes your finger back if you touch the brass doorknob or something.
Oh, if you touch a brass doorknob, that's anti-gravity. That's his proof that anti-gravity is real, friends. If you touch a doorknob, you get anti-gravity. I mean, I don't even know what to say sometimes to his insane ramblings. Chill Station 7 is here. Now it's a party. He's rocking a Party City Scarface costume. Is that what that is? A Party City Scarface costume? Thank you, Chill Station 7, for giving me a laugh. Thank you for your kindness, generosity, and support, and helping us to praise the cash, bitches. Charles McDonald is here with $7. The boots touching scene in Flash was Wilcock's idea. Yeah, of course. And the, you know, I got to tell you, I really like the Batman scenes, but I don't like I think a lot of the rest of the movie was pretty stupid, right? But thank you, Charles McDonald, for your kindness, your generosity, and your support of the show. Yeah, early May 1st burst, says Moth Loves to Try. Oh, that's tomorrow. May 1st burst. I'm doing a Phil show tomorrow. May 1st burst. I have something special for tomorrow night's show planned. So yeah, I don't know. I don't even know what to say sometimes to some of these Wilcock clips. It's just so stupid and so childish, right? He's such a genius that he knows how to create free energy, anti-gravity, and time travel. Why don't you show us? Why don't you go back in time and stop yourself from grifting with Corey Good, since he was a fake secret space program insider? Why don't you go back in time and stop yourself from running scams with Pete Peterson and Emery Smith, right?
What triggers this first wave?
The first wave of Ascension is coming soon. Macario says, I had to take a break, a long break. Guess what's coming soon?
What triggers this first wave of Ascension? Well, there's been some pretty exciting things this week. We're finding out that the arrests are very close now. It's going to happen when the files drop.
Man, I'm not playing that 14-minute video that we have of him saying year after year after year after year after year, mass arrests are coming. They're imminent.
You
He's
have
been saying this shit for years. It's never going to happen, David Wilcock. You've been lying to everybody about that for years.
Particular musician who's in the rap industry, right? And as you are very well aware, this next month is where all of that is going to be coming out in the open. Not only him, but all of his cronies and colleagues. So it would make a lot of sense that they're going to drop the files around the same time that trial hits the public, or even if the trial gets delayed somehow, the alliance is not going to be defeated. We are not going to be waiting.
There is no alliance, you moron.
Until the end of the year. They have a slide that's going to be.
Oh, we're not going to be waiting till the end of the year.
Even if the trial gets delayed somehow, the alliance is not going to be defeated. We are not going to be waiting until the end of the year. They have a slide that's going to be coming up where they show you that.
Okay, so they're not going to be waiting until the end of the year for the mass arrests. That means we're not going to be waiting till the end of the year for the Ascension. He says the mass arrests trigger the Ascension, and it comes right after the mass arrests. And of course, we get open extraterrestrial contact in 2025 too. Wilcock, what are you going to do when 2026 rolls around and none of this shit happens? Are you still going to pretend that you're psychic? This guy's been fucking pretending he has superpowers for decades. Oh, I'm psychic. I have superpowers. Why didn't you know that Corey Good was a fraud, Mr. Psychic? Why didn't you know that your marriage was going to fail spectacularly, Mr. Psychic? I guess you didn't see that one coming, right? It's just ridiculous.
Again, we have one hater.
Oh, here we go. Macario says, here's where we get into the accusations against me. Macario says, I think he has gone way too far. He is not going to stop, and it seems like his followers are saying some crazy stuff. Yeah, now his followers are saying that I'm a cannibal or something, like I eat human flesh. It's getting wackier and wackier here in the wacky world of Wilcock, but let's hear what he has to say specifically about me.
Again, we have one hater. His name is Steven. He's going to be mentioned this week in the time loop. This guy's been stalking me for 8 years. And
stalking. I have been exposing his scams. I have never stalked him, harassed him, threatened him, intimidated him in any way other than exposing his scams. If he is intimidated by people exposing his scams, maybe he ought to think about not scamming people anymore. if he is threatened by people exposing his scams, maybe he should think about not scamming people anymore with fake nonsense and fake government insiders.
Ezra just outed him.
Ezra did not out me. Nobody outed me. Ezra was talking about a completely different person and a completely different situation. But again, he conflates every evil thing into this supervillain, Stephen from Canada.
It's really incredible. It turns out he's been attacking everybody in the community, not just me.
All right. Well, why aren't anybody else in the community saying I'm attacking them, David Wilcock? Could it be because I'm not attacking anybody in the community? I'm just doing what we do here, exposing grifts and busting scammers. Is that an attack to you when somebody busts your con and screws it up so you can't just, this is the heart of this whole disagreement between he and I is that he believes he should just be allowed to scam people and nobody's allowed to talk about it because that screws up the scam and less morons on the internet give him money.
All of the top people in the so-called truth movement are being attacked by one guy, and he always does the same stuff, and he makes death threats, and
Yeah, this is interesting. I mentioned that I'm friendly with some people at the Tim Pool show. Wouldn't they be considered in that group? I mean, do I need to get like a written statement from the Tim Pool show that I haven't threatened or intimidated them? I'm cool with them. You moron. You didn't even know that. Go through my history. I've interviewed people from the Tim Pool show. I'm not threatening them. You said I'm threatening everybody in the so-called truther community. I guess they'd be considered that. I don't know. It's just so funny. And he's trying to paint me as some kind of left-wing lunatic, right? Because the Q-tards don't like those kind of people.
tells you he's going to kill you.
I haven't told anybody I'm going to kill them. It's so ridiculous, you childish pussy. Like, come on, put on your big boy pants. And if you're going to be a scammer, then be a bold scammer and take on the people exposing your scams. Prove them wrong. Prove me wrong. Prove that the Pete Peterson GoFundMe wasn't a scam. Prove that the Emery Smith PayPal donation thing wasn't a scam. Prove that it wasn't a scam when you and Corey Good defrauded the public selling what you both said were true stories for years and years and years. Prove it wasn't a scam when you took $333 from people and claimed that if they took your course in anti-gravity and free energy, that they'd be able to do it too. Prove it wasn't a scam.
And he's apparently even been sending suspicious packages to people's doors.
Yeah, and this is where it gets interesting. Because he is publicly on a YouTube public live stream claiming that I'm taking part in some kind of terrorist activities. I'm going to say that one more time. He is on a public YouTube live stream claiming that I am somehow taking part in terroristic activities, sending suspicious packages to people. Sounds pretty serious. Do you have any evidence of that? What are the names of the people I've sent suspicious packages to? You lying scumbag. Why don't you have the people I've sent suspicious packages to on your show and show the proof that I sent suspicious packages? You moron, I haven't sent a package at all for years. I haven't sent a package. To the best of my knowledge or recollection, I've sent some legal paperwork to my local municipality. I've sent my bills and other things in the mail, but I haven't sent anybody any packages. The fact that he could sit there and, all this takes is a little bit of logic to peel back this layers of deception he uses to lie about people. If I was truly doing that, wouldn't I be under criminal investigation? And you can show written statements from the authorities investigating me for terrorist activities. Wouldn't there be police reports? And by the way, if you got something suspicious in the mail, like God forbid, something you thought was a bomb, wouldn't you call your local police? Any reasonable person, if they got a suspicious package they believed may be a bomb, would call their local police. There would be a mountain of paperwork if I were doing this that he could put on the screen and prove that I was doing these things. David Wilcock, you're not smart enough to do this with me. You are dumb as rocks. You are borderline retarded. If you think this is going to work, David Wilcock, you are borderline retarded. And I'm sorry, I don't like that word. It's the only word that fits here. David Wilcock is a half-tard at the very least, like half retarded.
And this has now, it's not just my problem anymore. It's caught the attention of millions of people.
In other words, millions of people saw a Q-tard post that wasn't about me, and now he's claiming that millions of people are aware of this master cyber terrorist, Stephen from Canada. Bullshit. Bullshit, David Wilcock. Bullshit.
The top management of Twitter has
now he's saying the top management of, listen to this.
Millions of people, and the top management of Twitter has now said that they're going to take very concrete, proactive steps to stop this problem from happening. And we should all be very grateful for that. Not just.
Okay. Then if I was doing all of these terroristic activities, if I was threatening people, if I was sending death threats, wouldn't my Twitter or X account be suspended? It's not. David Wilcock, you just said that Twitter is going to do something about me and they're going to stop me. If I was sending death threats via Twitter, they would suspend my account. If I was doing anything malicious, they would suspend my account. Yet anybody can go on Twitter. I just posted on Twitter earlier today. You know, like I said, all it takes is somebody. This level of deception and lies only works on absolute, complete, and total idiot morons like the people that followed David Wilcock. Low IQ, low information viewers that don't do even the least little bit of critical thinking. Because anybody hearing this, that Twitter's going to do something about this Stephen guy, well, let's go check. Is his account suspended? Is his account deleted? Is his account suspended permanently for sending death threats? Oh, it's not. That alone proves that he's lying right here.
For me, but because, again, it appears now that somebody's paying this guy to do this on a very, very widespread level.
Yeah. Do you have canceled checks? Can you prove that I'm being paid by? Who am I being paid by? The CIA, the deep state? What? Who's paying me, David Wilcock? I run a viewer-supported show. Is that what you mean? People want to see your scams exposed. People want to see you get felted for scamming morons on the internet, and I'm here for it.
And he hates my guts. He despises me.
No, I do not. Let's get something very clear, David Wilcock. Hate is a very, very strong word, and I happen to be a practicing meditator. And because of being a practicing meditator, I have an intense and very deep understanding and of emotional awareness. He's supposed to be a spiritual guru. He should know this. Hate is such a powerful, strong emotion. I would not waste my hatred on you, David Wilcock. I don't hate you as a person. In fact, I keep David Wilcock in my prayers and hope that he will, take a different path and stop scamming people for a living. I don't hate him. I feel sorry for him that he is so lacking in intelligence, talent, work ethic, and motivation that he thinks the only way he can survive in this world is by lying to morons on the internet and stealing their money for fake shit. I hate what he does to people. I hate how he victimizes vulnerable people. He specifically targets and victimizes vulnerable people. He does that. That's a fact. I don't hate him.
I don't hate him. I wish he would stop, but he won't. So we are going to be suing him because he will never stop.
Yeah. You never want to invite a lawsuit, but I'm reaching a point where I'm like, what is he going to do? Is he going to walk into a courtroom? I have the clips, David Wilcock, where you said you knew it was me who stole that money out of your bank account because you took a bath and piss and the Archangel Michael said, Stephen, 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 when you asked who's doing this to me. Are you going to tell a judge and a jury that your evidence that I stole money out of your bank account is that you took a bath and an angel told you that I did it, so it must be true? You understand that courts, judges, juries, I will rip him to shreds in a court. I will rip him to shreds in a courtroom. I will track down every wacky thing that he's ever said and make a supercut, and it will get admitted as evidence. And then I will argue to the judge and the jury that this man belongs in a mental institution. After all, he's telling people publicly that he takes baths in his own piss, and that gave him superpowers. And then he was able to stop the assassin from killing Trump by moving the bullet with his superpowers. It's ridiculous.
If he had stopped, I probably would have let him go.
Stop. What he wants me to stop is he wants me to stop talking about him, exposing his deceptions, exposing his lies, exposing his scams. You've been scamming people, David Wilcock, for years now, claiming that an angel gave you prophetic, secret, sacred knowledge that you then decided to sell to people for $333. And the angel told you that we're going to have mass ascension, a worldwide event in 2025, specifically before you said by May of 2025. And then also the angels told you we'd have open extraterrestrial contact by May of 2025. You're taking money from people claiming that you know the future. And in May, when that future you predicted does not happen, will you be refunding all of those people their money? Since it turns out this angel thing is just another in a long line of scams that you have been directly involved in or run. And I can prove that in a court of law. I have the receipts. I have all the receipts on the Pete Peterson GoFundMe scam. I have all the receipts on the Emery Smith PayPal donation scam. I have the receipts for I always forget that one of his earlier scams, Convergence Pictures LLC. He took investors' money. He never made the movie. What did you do with those investors' money? The fact that this guy is saying he's going to sue me for slander, as he's accusing me of calling animal control, as he's accused me of getting him swatted, stealing money from his bank account, sending death threats, sending suspicious packages, trying to extort money from him. I mean, we're reaching like a James Bond level supervillain here, or DC or Marvel level like genius supervillain, to be able to do all this stuff that he claims I'm doing and escape any legal consequences. Nobody has called the police on me. Nobody has sued me. Nobody, and by the way, David, if you're going to say I'm doing this to all these other people, get them on your show. Get them on your show to explain how I'm sending them death threats. Or are you just lying? Because even your dumb as rocks followers will soon be waking up and realizing that this whole story arc that you've invented about me is simply to make me a villain so that people think my information about you is not accurate. But any rational, reasonable person who views the evidence that I have presented here on Truth Seekers will know that I've been telling the truth about you, and will know that, this is a very common thing. There's been many journalists throughout history that started exposing scams, and the people that are getting exposed, they viciously attack those journalists. They don't want that information out there. It ruins their scam. That's what this is about, David Wilcock. I'm busting your grift. I'm not threatening you. I'm threatening your scam.
Our company's very close to being funded, so he's going to be mentioned in these readings again.
Oh, yeah, your company's going to get funded. He can't sue me until the company gets funded, apparently. So basically, I'm never getting sued because that company will never be funded. Not to the tune of millions and millions and hundreds of millions of dollars like he's been claiming for how long now, right?
In the next dream, I found myself in my old bedroom where I had grown up as a kid. And in this case, there was a shadowy, malevolent, dark-robed figure standing there. Turns out that it's a gray. We'll see that at the end. The little girl was in the room as well. The being was very real to us. So I made a new note here. In this week's time loop, they revealed that the demon is also a metaphor of Stephen, who we now know is terrorizing everybody, who's the most famous influencer in the truth community. This being had on a black cape that went around his head. His face had the consistency of light white modeling clay.
Imagine.
His eyes were swollen and they were set funny.
Imagine being so delusional, right? And look at this. Osiris Christensen made this. David Wilcock is seeing Stevens everywhere. He is so scared of me. You think I think he probably thinks about me as he's falling asleep and then he pisses his pants and shits himself. He's terrified. I'm going to wreck his grift. And he's right. All right. Oh, I'm sorry. Let's get back. Let's do this
The
one
next
again.
dream, I found myself in my old bedroom where I had grown up as a kid. And in this case, there was a shadowy, malevolent, dark-robed figure standing there. Turns out that it's a gray.
I literally make him piss himself in this dream, I think.
We'll see that at the end. The little girl was in the room as well. The being was very real to us. So I made a new note here. In this week's time loop, they revealed that the demon is also a metaphor of Stephen, who we now know is terrorizing everybody.
What famous influencers in the truth community am I terrorizing? Can you explain that line? And you know, someday, dude, there's going to be consequences. If nothing else, there's going to be karmic consequences when karma comes around. You understand, this guy is supposed to be a spiritual guru. He doesn't understand the concept of karma. If you do evil to people, it comes back to you, David Wilcock. If you falsely accuse people of things, people are going to falsely accuse you of things. And you wouldn't like that, would you? Right? It's one of those things, man. It's just one of those things. I can't believe that this guy is just thinking he could just say anything he wants and there'll be no consequences. Good luck with that, Wilcock.
Who's the most famous influencer in the truth community. This being had on a black cape.
Why aren't all the other famous influencers in the truth community doing shows exposing me for terrorizing them, Wilcock? Could it be because you're making this up? This is from the land of make-believe?
That went around his head. His face had the consistency of light white modeling clay. His eyes were swollen and they were set funny on the face. He had a skeletal look like he was built up with modeling clay. And I said they're essentially, the grays are undead because...
So is he dreaming about a gray alien or a demon or me? Somehow, all three of those.
They actually live off of pureed human bodies.
Yeah. David Wilcock says the grays exist off of basically human smoothie milkshakes. Sounds totally credible. Not crazy at all. By the way, that one's going, and I have that clip of you saying that stuff, David Wilcock, and that's going in my court
Facing
stuff.
down against this satanic DS.
Oh, horrible demonic looking thing.
Seeing them for what it is. It also is, again, talking about Stephen. He's just constantly telling me I'm vile, disgusting, pathetic, whatever.
Yes, David Wilcock, you are vile, disgusting, and pathetic. Not you as a person, but what you do, stealing from vulnerable people. That is vile, despicable, and disgusting. Yes.
The little girl was scared of him. He scared the piss out of us both.
There you have it, friends. Wow. I made David Wilcock piss himself while he was sleeping. In 1999, he didn't even know me yet. And in 1999, I somehow made David Wilcock and some unknown little girl piss themselves. I must be pretty scary to be able to make David Wilcock piss himself, right? and do it in 1999. How is he pissing himself if he doesn't even know about me yet, right? Tales of the Sonic Voyage is here with one for the goal. Who is this Sue lady he's sending to assault us? We'll kick her butt back to Colorado. True Seekers Unite. No, he's going to sue, as in legally sue us, Tales of the Sonic Voyage, but I get the reference, right? Yeah, I just don't understand how his audience laps up this BS. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is, right? It's one of those things. I can't believe it either. They're that dumb. They're that stupid.
There was nowhere to go.
Nowhere to go. So you just pissed yourself. I made David Wilcock piss himself in 1999 somehow.
Session for Josh. And my bully, Steven, who's the guy that's been doing this for 8 years, the only one, I've been comparing him to Josh, and now actually it's a common thing the last few weeks. He started using the name Joshua because basically he seems to be obsessed with...
I've never used the name Joshua. Never. Never, ever, anywhere. Why don't you show proof I'm using the name Joshua, David? I mean, how many times can you lie in one live stream, dude?
The name Joshua because basically he seems to be obsessed with me. It's like a love-hate relationship. So he...
No, I think anybody would react the way that I'm reacting to what you're doing, right? Just take me exposing your scams and your grifts. Make better scams that can't be busted. Make better grifts that can't be busted. There's no obsession here. We've covered hundreds of different personalities. Sure, I've probably made more shows about Wilcock than any other because he's one of the biggest scammers out there, and we cover New Age and UFO scammers here. That's the kind of the point of our show.
He actually like took on that name, and now he's going to have a new one this week. We'll get into that.
Yeah. The new thing is now he's saying that I'm Goliath reincarnated, and he's David reincarnated. So while he's saying that I'm threatening him, he's basically saying that I'm Goliath reincarnated and he's David reincarnated and he's going to kill me with a stone. But I'm the one issuing death threats. I'm the one, this doesn't make any sense, David. Maybe you shouldn't be making violent threats against me, right?
I'm sure he's going to start using it. And again, Stephen just talks and talks and talks, but
we have receipts. Did you see the show last night, David Wilcock? We showed your charity. We showed your charity paperwork, and John Spadavaccia showed a lot of court documents and things. We don't just talk, we show the receipts. You never have receipts. You are the one that talks and talks and talks. You do the trust me bro stuff. You don't have evidence of anything that you're saying about me. You have never had any evidence of any of the shit you're saying about me.
If he ever actually did come here and try to kill me, I don't.
Yeah, now this is where it gets ridiculous. He's really thinking that I might come there. First of all, I was about to say I've never been to Colorado, but that's not true. I drove through Colorado. I have been to Colorado, but I was on my way to California. Or no, I was on my way to Las Vegas that time. And I'm sure I've probably driven across Colorado on my way to California. Anyway, I have no plans. I have no violence in me. I have a wife and children. This lunatic thinks I'm going to hop on a plane and go there to like do him some kind of harm. He is delusional, man. Do you think I would risk my future with my children and my hot wife to come and hurt you? I'm going to let karma do its thing. The annoying part about karma is it always takes too long. But if you wait for it, it comes. I'm not going to do anything to hurt you. Karma, dude, karma is coming for you.
If he ever actually did come here and try to kill me, I don't think it would work. I have all the advantage. I have the home advantage. I don't think that's going to happen.
Not paranoid at all, right?
But these threats have been going on for 8 years, and now we find out.
Again, every time he says threats, he means threats to his scams. I have never made a threat to him personally. I've never made a threat to his life or his livelihood. But I guess exposing his scams messes with his livelihood because he makes his money scamming morons on the internet, and I expose the scams. The only threat coming from me is to his scams and his cons and his grifts. There's no other form of threat from me. Let's put that on the record.
He's doing it to everybody. And
I'm doing it to everybody. Who else am I doing this to? Name them. Have them on your show to talk about how I've sent them suspicious packages or sent them death threats. Notice he doesn't do that. Don't you think that if he actually had the proof that I was doing this heinous shit, he would run to a live stream to show everybody that he finally got that journalist that's been exposing his scams all these years? Of course he would. He's got nothing. This is one big bluff. Just like Ascension is coming soon. Just like mass arrests are coming soon. All this guy does is bluff. There's no there. There's no meat on the bone.
Ezra outed him in a very interesting way.
Ezra didn't out me. Ezra didn't even know what the fuck he was talking about. I could share the messages between us, David Wilcock. If Ezra outed me, and I asked him, I mentioned this. David Wilcock says, you outed me and you're going to arrest me when you become the DIA director. And he didn't know anything about any of this.
This week. And when I did my last show, he had stopped attacking me, but now he is back with the fury. Because again, I think a lot of it is that he's
back with the fury. I do one show about him a week usually. And that's consistent. He does a stream. I do a stream covering it. I'm not back with the fury. Why are you making up? Even he even lies about stupid things that don't even matter.
He's really pissed off the Alliance is coming after him. But you know what?
Oh yeah, I'm so pissed off that that an imaginary group that it was invented by a con artist friend of David Wilcock's is coming after me. Sure, I'm totally angry about that. You know, he might as well say I'm angry about the Tooth Fairy coming after me or Santa Claus coming after me, because the Tooth Fairy and Santa Claus are about as real as the Alliance. CSK is here with £5, one for the goal. Thank you very much. Wilcock retroactively felt it by Steve's casually defying remote peeing powers. Yes, I made him piss his pants. CSK, I made him piss his pants, and I did it in 1999. I'm gonna make him shit. You know what? I'm gonna remote shit himself. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna use my remote viewing powers, and I'm gonna make him shit his own pants, because then he's gonna blame that on me. Like I said last night, someday David Wilcock, coming soon, is going to shit his pants, and he's going to do a live stream and claim I broke in his house and shit in his pants, right? Thank you, CSK. And Troll is here with 5. Maybe you visited Colorado the time you went to Dulce, New Mexico. It could be. Yeah. Well, I definitely drove through Colorado, but I didn't stop there, as best I recall. You know, when he does it, you should have a live stream breaking it down. Yeah, when he shits himself, I'm going to make him shit himself. That's my new goal in life. Let's make David shit his pants from fear and paranoia, right? You ever get really afraid and like get nervous to the point where it affects your stomach and you could shit yourself? That's what's going to happen. He's so afraid of me. He's so scared of his grift coming crashing down. He's going to shit his own pants. It's coming, friends. It's coming, right? Yes. Dave B is here and says he looks like he's shitting his pants right now. Yes. Shit those pants, Mr. Wilcock. Shit those pants.
You can't just go out there and
Listen to this. Talk about the pot calling the cattle black. Listen to this.
Go out there and attack people and threaten people's lives and tell them that they're con artists and frauds and vile and disgusting, and not expect that something's going to happen. And even if you have fancy friends who protected you and they say,
yeah, I have friends at the CIA and the deep state. They're going to give me the lawyers, right?
who protected you and they say, don't.
So basically he's saying you can't go on the internet and lie about people without there being consequences. Well, first of all, I can prove everything that we've presented about all of your scams is true. So and by the way, the best defense against a slander lawsuit is that you're telling the truth with what you said. I can prove that. Do you really think 12 people are going to side with a guy who's been ripping off old crystal hippie bitch grandmoms for decades versus a journalist who's been exposing scammers like you for years now? I don't think so, Mr. Wilcock, but good luck with that.
Worry, if anybody sues you, you can use our lawyer. Good lawyers still can't win a lawsuit if there's evidence that proves that you're guilty. Even a corrupt judiciary, we can appeal, so look, it would be really
if the judge sides against him, they're corrupt, right? Yeah. If a judge says, get out of here with your pissing yourself superpowers bullshit stories, I don't want to waste my court's time on your nonsense delusions, then they're corrupt.
Great if he would stop, but I don't think he ever will, and so that's why we're moving forward with the lawsuit.
Yeah, he's been saying he's going to sue me since July. I'm not holding my breath, friends. I don't welcome it, but if it happens, I will aggressively defend myself. And I will, of course, countersue him. So good luck with that. I will countersue you. Suddenly I'm having, night terrors because David Wilcock is slandering me and making all these false allegations and accusations about me to 500,000 people. I'm having, psychological problems over that, David. So best of luck to you, buddy. Best of luck. All right. Next. Geez, maybe there wasn't a lot. I didn't think there was this many. And now, of course, I lost my place. Oh, here we go.
We need you to be more prepared for the changes that are so soon to occur. So yeah, many people are just depressed. They've lost faith. You see this online. They're
Yeah, don't worry. Next month, the mass arrests and Ascension are coming.
like, oh my God, nobody's being arrested. Nothing is being done. I feel so hopeless. I feel so sad. Okay, look, it's not going to stay this way.
Yeah, and Bucksaw says, it's pretty funny how Corey destroyed David's career. He could be interviewing Graham Hancock and maybe still be with Gaia making good money. Yep, nope, he got too greedy.
They are going to do it, and they're probably going to do it pretty soon. I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't even happen next month. And they just said the MLK files are very close to coming out. And what happens after that?
Don't worry, friends. The mass arrests are coming next month again. How many times are you going to tell us the mass arrests are coming next month, David? We have a 17-minute file of you doing this year after year after year after year after year.
Is the other files that we are so on the edge of our seats about, and the fact that that top witness just died of alleged suicide. Very, very sketchy, very suspicious. Suggests that they might know something that we don't, and they're aware that these trials are coming up very soon, and they're trying to intimidate people. So if you speak out about this, if you come forward as a witness, we will kill you. But make it look like nothing bad happened except that you did it to yourself. Well, there's hundreds of people in witness protection who are very well protected right now, and they're all going to be coming forward. So
yeah, and how does he know this? Because he makes it up. That's how he knows it.
the threats are not going to work. And again, Michael has proven week after week, all the way back since September in this time loop thing we're doing, that he sees the future crystal clear.
There's a problem with that, David. From a theological perspective, David Wilcock is so stupid he doesn't even know this. Mr. New Age guru. Go ask a Christian minister. Go ask a Catholic priest. Go ask a Muslim imam. Can angels predict the future? Go ask any theologian, biblical scholar. Can angels predict the future? No, they can't. No, they can't, David Wilcock. They cannot predict the future. They cannot see the future. There is a limit even to their divine glory. God gave them some limits. And one of those limits is they cannot see or predict the future. Now, certainly, because they have super intelligence, both demons and angels may be able to see things going on and make pretty accurate predictions, but they cannot see the future. Big problem with your scam here. One that somehow escapes all of your moron followers. I guess they've never studied real Christianity or real Judaism or real Islam. Because all three of the major Abrahamic religions that talk about angels all agree that angels cannot predict or see the future. That's one of the limitations, that you are too ignorant, too moronic and stupid to realize. Like when he came up with this scam, he didn't do proper research. If he had, he would know that angels and demons cannot see or predict the future. Only God can do that. So there's a problem with your scam right there. Just from a theological perspective, you're completely and totally wrong, bro.
The Alliance, they're doing an amazing, amazing job. It's very exciting what's happening.
There's nothing happening. He's making it all up from Q-Tard posts.
And it is going to lead to the results that we've all been hoping for so long. So I'm not nervous at all. I mean, I'm tired of waiting.
He's not nervous at all. Hey, TikTok motherfucker, May's coming. You said that there would be Ascension and open extraterrestrial contact by May of 2025. Tomorrow is May 1st. You loser. You moron.
And I'm tired of being attacked by this one individual so much because it's really stupid and annoying, and being threatened with death all the time. And
again, I've never threatened him with death. The only thing that I could see that he perceives as an attack is me talking about his grifts and his scams, which, by the way, David, they're all coming crashing down. You're going to have to come up with a new scam. The angel scam is over. And at the end of the angel scam, we will add the angel scam in with a long line of scams. The Convergence Pictures LLC scam, the David Wilcock Spiritual Foundation scam, the PayPal donation scam with Emery Smith, the GoFundMe scam with Pete Peterson, the Secret Space Program scam with Corey Good. We'll add the angel scam in when the angel scam runs its course, and it will. Oh, and the anti-gravity and free energy scam as well.
Him stealing your money, and so
Yeah, I stole his money, and he, listen, like everybody in the live chat, in my live chat, I believe, are reasonable, rational people. If somebody had stolen $7,700 from your bank account, wouldn't you call the cops? Everybody would. Yet David Wilcock never called the police.
again, if you're looking on my X page and you see these crazy, wild hate statements, it's all this one guy with lots of different aliases. And now we find...
No, I don't have any Twitter or X aliases, except for one. I used to use this account that's something like Shit My Wife Says. I haven't used it in years or logged into it in years. I don't even know if it still exists. He is blaming me for every mean tweet he receives. He is literally losing his mind, and he is seeing me everywhere. And I gotta say, like, part of that is flattering. Like, he thinks that I'm so powerful that I can do all of these things. I'm sending people bombs or suspicious packages. I'm threatening all these people. I'm extorting money. I'm stealing money from his bank account, right? I'm getting him swatted. I must be like a literal, like, supervillain to be able to do all this stuff. It's ridiculous and delusional and so childish and stupid.
Find out he's doing it to everybody. Do you not see...
Why can't he show who I'm doing it to?
The metaphor of David's bully coming along and of that bully turning out not to be a threat anymore? Well, oh my God. This is very much time looped in to the idea of our lovely friend Stephen. And again, I don't hate him. He makes me laugh. I mean, it's so...
Yeah, I don't just make you laugh, David. I make you cry. Every night, David sits in his house, in his multi-million-dollar mansion, and he cries about me wrecking his grift. He cries about me exposing his decades-long history of scamming the public. He cries. I don't make him laugh. Well, I might make him laugh, right? You ever have that nervous laugh where you laugh and kind of cry at the same time? That's what he's talking about. Sunny Cali 11 with a big one, 1999. Thank you very much for your kindness. And he proclaims you are a young kid and part of the Evil Alliance. Yeah, why would the Dark Alliance or the Evil Alliance be employing a kid? He constantly calls me a kid. That's to minimize me. No, David, I'm not a kid. I'm a grown man with a wife and 2 children. That's not a kid. Don't belittle me or try to lessen me by calling me a child. But thank you, Sunny Cali 11. Wish I was in Sunny Cali, but thank you for your kindness and generosity and support. Much, much appreciated. And we've got one from RoboNext 666. Bank fraud is a literal federal crime. Piss Boy is such a dummy. Yeah, if I actually did bank fraud against him, I could probably face 5 years in jail, right? And wouldn't that stop me from streaming? So he should, get me arrested and prosecuted if he had evidence that I was behind that, but he doesn't. He has his thoughts and feelings, and facts don't care about your thoughts and feelings, and neither do the police. Are you going to go to the police and say, I really feel like it's him that stole that money out of my bank account, right? Ain't no angel talking to Dilcock. Yeah. And you've become part of the story, Steven, says Humphrey Bogart. You're right. God damn it. There is another content creator I won't mention, but they told me a long time ago, like, you should not just, talk about the story, Steven, make yourself a part of it. Fuck that guy, because I don't want to be a part of it to this extent. Like, this is ridiculous. Every week I have to have, like, my phone blow up. Did you hear what Wilcock says you did now, Steven? Every fucking week. It is ridiculous. But thank you. And thank you, RoboNext 666, for one for the goal. Bank fraud is a literal federal crime. Piss Boy is such a dummy. And somebody mentioned Corey's show is coming out, but it's really him grifting and convincing his family to talk about ghosts and spirit orbs and shit. I don't think it's going to deal with very much, Sacha N, to do with this. But David says, I'm going to be exposed. You're right, Sacha N. Corey's show is coming out, right? Yes, Jupiter's madness. You're right. Steven is in every room at all times. You're right. Yeah, I'm everywhere to this clown. He sees me everywhere. I have infected this guy with a mind virus. It is something else.
Ridiculous that this has gone on for so long and that there's somebody so dedicated to trying to destroy my aerospace company. He's the reason why we got sued. We actually heard that from the people that sued us.
Yeah, this is a complete and total lie. The person, Dmitriev, who sued Stavati Aerospace, his shady fake aerospace company, said that he heard the company was a scam on Reddit. I've never posted on Reddit. John has those posts. I never posted on Reddit. He just lied through his teeth saying that he got sued because of me.
Trying to destroy my aerospace company. He's the reason why we got sued. We actually heard that from the people that sued us.
No, read the court documents, you moron. Did you even read the court documents, you complete and total fucking moron? Right in the court documents, Dmitriev states that he heard that in a deposition. He stated he heard that Stavati was a scam from Reddit and other internet posts. Not from my show. He didn't name me. He didn't say in the court case, well, I heard Stavati was a scam from John Spadavaccia and Stephen Cambion. No, it was from Reddit posts from years ago calling them a scam. I think John Spadavaccia said that those posts were circa 2015, before I ever did a show covering you, Wilcock, before I ever said anything about Stavati. But it is what it is. You know, he's free to lie about me. But the funny thing is like, listen to how many times I've caught him lying so far. Or let's just call them evidence-free claims, right? But he's going to sue me for slander. This motherfucker is telling people that I'm a terrorist and I may get the death penalty. And I'm sending suspicious packages in the mail. But he's going to sue me for slander. He called me a child predator and a Satan worshiper. But he's going to sue me for slander.
They read this stuff online that said we were a fraudulent company, and that's why they filed the lawsuit.
Yeah, they read it on Reddit. I've never posted on Reddit. I've never had a Reddit account. Or no, I do have a Reddit account, but I don't post on Reddit. They won't let me in the UFO groups because there's a true believing morons.
Now that whole lawsuit is going to be dismissed.
It's not going to be dismissed, and we showed the proof of that last night. The Dmitriev lawsuit is not getting dismissed, David Wilcock. Nope.
We filed a motion to dismiss. Nothing in their counter argument that's going to allow them to win. So that will happen pretty soon.
No, it won't. The lawsuit's not getting dismissed. It's moving forward. And your company is going to have to pay that guy $5 million or $6 million. He's going to win. He's going to get that judgment. You took his million. Your shady company took his $1 million, spent it all, and never gave him back what you promised, which was the original $1 million and $5 million in profit. You owe that man $6 million.
So yeah, they mentioned David's bully, and it's just this past week that he got exposed on a massive level. He's doing it to Ezra. He's doing it to everybody.
I'm not doing anything to anybody. He's making this up.
In the truth community, and now the top level.
Why wouldn't all the people in the truth community just get together and do one stream together and expose me, David Wilcock? Is that because this is from the land of make-believe?
Levels of the X management are going to change the whole system so that he can't keep rigging the game.
Again, he's saying that the X management is after me. My Twitter account is still online. We can check it right now. Yep. Just checking in. Yep. I still have a Reddit account. I still have a Twitter account. I'm still able to post. I'm still able to communicate with people. So why would Twitter let me continue to have an account if I was threatening people, if I was doing all these heinous, evil, illegal things? They wouldn't, David Wilcock. My Twitter account being in good active status is proof that you're lying right here. Nobody should need any further proof.
So that he can't keep rigging the game and threatening everybody's lives and ruining their happiness.
Yeah. So apparently, not only did David Wilcock not file any police reports about me sending death threats, but none of all these other people he's claiming I sent death threats to. Nobody filed any police reports. right? What did you guys all just get together and say, well, we could call the police and get him arrested because that's illegal, highly illegal, and we have the evidence that he's doing this, but we're all not going to call the police. None of us are going to call the police on him. David Wilcock, you are a terrible liar. You are terrible at lying. Like, you ought to pick another profession. It's so easy to catch you in lies with just basic critical thinking and logic.
No, he wants people to suffer. He wants to suck your energy. And again, it's not just him. This represents
Wait, he said I want him to suffer.
Everybody's lives and ruining their happiness. You know, he wants people to suffer.
Suffer, David Wilcock, suffer. I don't want you to suffer. I want your con to suffer. I want your grifts and your swindles to suffer.
Wants to suck your energy. And again, it's not just him. This represents holographically the DS as a whole and the way that they work. I mean,
wow.
This is
I'm the deep state's greatest gladiator warrior, apparently.
They want you to be miserable. They want you to be sad. They want you to think there's never going to be a happy ending. The alliance.
I think that he's slipping up. This is a Freudian slip right here. I think David Wilcock is sad. I think David Wilcock is miserable. He doesn't want to keep doing these streams every week. It's too much work, right? Making all those bullshit slides, coming up with lies every week. Like, imagine if you had to lie for 5 hours straight every week. And even though you had the whole week to prepare to lie for 5 hours, dude, that's got to be a grind, coming up with 5 hours of lies every week. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy.
They work. I mean, this is, they want you to be miserable. They want you to be sad. They want you to think there's never going to be a happy ending.
Yeah, I think David Wilcock is sad and miserable, and he knows there's not going to be a happy ending to his cons, swindles, and grifts. He's worried he may have to get a real fucking job someday. You know, he's rapidly losing the ability to swindle morons out of money on the internet.
David and Goliath is
and here's where he says I'm Goliath reincarnated or something.
Portrayed in season 1. There's 8 episodes, and
yeah, David Wilcock watched a television show, so he weaves that in. And you ever notice how much he talks about television and weaves it in? It's like he watches a television show and he's like, well, I did watch David and Goliath. Let's work this into my scam.
It culminates with what we know is going to happen, which is that David hits Goliath between the eyes with his slingshot. And the rock hits Goliath in the forehead, and he falls over dead, and they win the war. And that's when season 1 ends, right after Goliath falls down dead.
Oh, man.
So this is a very interesting the story of David and Goliath is a very interesting symbolic parallel that I didn't really understand until I watched the show.
Yeah, he watched the show and suddenly decided that I was Goliath reincarnated, this loser, right? And he's David. CSK says, it's time. Catastrophic disclosure now. Yes. Catastrophic disclosure. Yes, we're well aware he claims he is Edgar Casey and David from the Bible. David and Goliath, too many sniffs. Thank you, CSK, for your kindness, your generosity, and your support of the show. It is much, much appreciated. Now let's continue with our cavalcade of David Wilcock wacky bullshit. Here we go.
And why do I say that? Okay, because in the show, you have the Philistine army that's going up against the Hebrew army, the army that's protecting Israel. And in this case, Israel is a great thing. It's the whole focus of the show is Israel are the good guys.
Oh yeah, he had a preface because he's been making all these anti-Semitic comments lately, and he's very anti-Israel all of a sudden. Oh, but back then they were the good guys. Okay.
And that's what the Old Testament's about. So the Philistines outnumber the Israelites by 3-1. They have a 250,000 person army. And apparently the Israelites only had a third that many in their army.
What does any of this have to do with me?
So the armies are standing off against each other on the battlefield for days and days and days in a row. But the Philistines have a secret weapon. They have this giant who's like a 14-foot tall humanoid. And he's standing out there every day blaspheming God, defaming God, which is the same thing Stephen is doing.
Does anybody remember me defaming God or blaspheming God? I mean, I don't know that it's relevant or not, but I was raised very Catholic. I consider myself a Christian. I generally don't go around blaspheming God ever. But in David Wilcock's mind, remember, I'm a Satan worshiper. So he's just got to put that out there, right? And in order to weave in this Goliath story, he's got to compare me to Goliath. So I guess, I don't know.
And they put him out there as their giant, and somebody from the Hebrews has to come out and fight him, but nobody wants to do it. Goliath is out there yelling at everybody, screaming at everybody, blaspheming their God. Nobody wants to fight him until after whatever it is, 8, 10, 15 days, I'm not even sure. David shows up. He was already told by their great prophet Samuel that he was going to be the next king. And this really upset the existing king, whose name was Saul. He's all pissed off about it. But then after all this time, Saul is dying. His army doesn't want to fight. Great stuff, David, says Miles Irvin. Forget not that soon-to-be King David cut off Goliath's head with his own sword. Yes, that's true. And that's also part of what's shown in the dream, as you just pointed out. In the dream, the guy gets chopped in half, but in the David and Goliath story, the head gets chopped off. And they do show that in the show, although they don't show you the head very up close.
Oh,
but yes, that's absolutely part of the story.
Yeah. Thank you,
And
CSK.
it was David, this shepherd boy. He's not even a man, he's a boy, and he's
He
the
does
only
love
one
the
brave
happy
enough to
endings
do
for the
this.
male masseuse.
He had already
Yes,
been told by Samuel
absolutely.
that he was going to be king
And he
in the
loves
future,
gays-
and that
he
he was
loves gay
anointed
hookers,
by
too.
God. And again, this supposedly was my past life, and I supposedly actually did this. And it's like, he became the most famous
You're
king
right,
in
Jupiter's
history.
Madness.
So I never bothered to read about it. I didn't really want to know. I've always kind of had a standoffish attitude about this reincarnation story. It hasn't really done me any favors. Most of the relationships and friendships I've had.
That's kind of ridiculous, because if you truly believe that you were Edgar Casey reincarnated, who said he was David from the Bible, from the David and Goliath fame, reincarnated as well, wouldn't you want to know all about your previous life so you would read about it? It just doesn't make any sense.
In my life have really been damaged by this because, you have some kind of an anointing and people get jealous and then they end up hating you.
David Wilcock
And
is
you're all,
anointed.
most of what has happened to me is
again, with the bloated sense of self-importance. I was King David in a previous life and I slew the giant Goliath. This dude is so delusional. It's borderline like he needs a rubber room and a new jacket, a straight one.
people ripping me off, being mad at me, yelling at me, hating me, plotting behind my back. And then this big betrayal shows up that I didn't see coming. And it's like, oh my God, it happened again. So that's part of the reason why
I wonder if he's talking about Corey Good and his wife there. Did you know this loser wouldn't cut ties with Corey Good to the extent that people have said that his wife left him because he wouldn't stop working with Corey Good? I think there might have been some butt banging going on there.
I really keep to myself and I don't associate with very many people because this seems to just keep on happening as like a human nature thing. So I watched this finale on April 27th, and it did make me cry. I mean, it was
right before his show. He cried.
It was incredible because I'm like, wow, this is actually supposedly my story. And I thought about how simple.
Again, with the bloated sense of self-importance. This is my story. David slaying the Goliath and becoming a king. That's my story.
Similar it is to what's really going on. That it's like, you know, we find out that Stephen is attacking everybody in the truth community. They've got
Not
one
true.
guy who's doing everything. That's just like Goliath. They got their whole army of 250,000 people back there, but none of them are doing anything. And they send out one guy, and he's the one with the sassy mouth.
Oh, yeah. David Wilcock is saying I have a sassy mouth. Oh, no.
And he's the one yelling at everybody. And he's the one making a big ruckus. And David and Goliath have to stand off against each other. Well, that could be seen as a metaphor of our current situation. And as I say here, I had a dream that encouraged me to compare Stephen to Goliath. As I said,
this guy is so fucking mental right now. Like, he watches a movie and he's like, yeah, let's make Stephen the bad guy from the movie I just watched. Let's make him the bad guy.
there were many parallels, and Goliath was David's bully. And again, the Alliance has now actually outed him. His name was the pseudonym he was using was Enterprising David Desert Raven.
And by the way, I can prove that I'm not Enterprising Dave. He's claiming that I'm this other Twitter account. Clearly, I'm not. You can do, I don't know. I have a background in computer science. I could do a forensic analysis of when that person posts. He's clearly on a different time zone than me, but okay. Again, he's blaming me for shit that other people are doing on Twitter. I'm not that person, you moron.
So I actually do believe that this is that, at least we can, let's just say this. We can meditate on the idea that Stephen is occupying the same role now that Goliath did in this previous historical event, and he may actually be the reincarnation of Goliath.
Oh, well, that's news to me, friends. I used to be a 14-foot tall giant.
There's a fascinating amount of study that could be done on this because of the fact that the Edgar Cayce readings say that in your past lives...
Yeah, somebody in this thread points out, it makes it hard to grift people if there's someone out there trying to wake people up and point out the bullshit. Matt says, I guarantee David Wilcock thinks of Stephen from Canada whenever he cranks one out. Ugh. I'm so glad David wants the sun to rise every morning. We'd be screwed if he didn't.
You have certain karmic events that then duplicate in future lifetimes, and you get the chance to do it again, hopefully less violently. And again, I'm not interested in him being killed or destroyed. I don't want any violence, but I do want him to stop. If he would stop on his own, I would leave him alone, but he won't. So therefore, we're going to sue him basically just because we need him to stop.
Okay, yeah. We need him to stop ruining my scams, my cons. And just for anybody who doesn't know, what he's attempting to do to me is to sue me into silence, right? But I live in the state of Pennsylvania. There's a very powerful, first of all, there's a powerful journalist shield law that would prevent him from even probably being able to sue me. But there's also a very powerful anti-slap law, which means I could just get it dismissed. I've already got my anti-slap dismissal letter written for the court. You can't sue somebody into silence because you don't like what they're saying, David Wilcock. Not in my state, but good luck. And, the other thing that's so stupid is he's going to have to
Dave actually be the reincarnation.
He's going to have to come here to Pennsylvania to sue me. They're not going to let him do it by Zoom. So how long does the trial last? I don't know, weeks, months. He's going to come to Pennsylvania for months and months. Even just the expense of hotels for 2 or 3 months. Add that up. He's broke. He's never going to do this.
Nation of Goliath. There's a fascinating amount of study that could be done on this because of the fact that the Edgar Cayce readings say that in your past lives, you have certain karmic events that then duplicate in future lifetimes, and you get the...
I think, if anything, David Wilcock was a snake oil salesman in a previous life. He even has snake oil in his house. He showed it once. Couldn't everybody see David Wilcock with a twirly mustache? Yeah, see, come on. See, friends, it'll cure all the ails, you see?
Chance to do it again, hopefully less violently. And again, I'm not interested in him being killed or destroyed. I don't want any violence, but I do want him to stop. If he would stop on his own, I would leave him alone, but he won't. So therefore, we're going to sue him basically just because we need him to stop.
That right there is a slap dismissal lawsuit. He needs to stop me from speaking about him. He openly admits it on a public live stream that his whole strategy or reason for suing me is to stop my free speech. You just handed me a dismissal. Thank you, David Wilcock, you moron of morons. And I've already got the clip, so don't try editing it out or deleting it from your stream, you moron. You said that. It's in the transcript. I have the transcript from your live stream as well. You just handed me an anti-slap dismissal. You just said your whole reason for suing me is to stop my free speech, you moron of morons. I told you he's not smart enough to do this with me.
And it is disruptive. As I've said, I have 8 people that are all fighting him on a team. Every time I post, he comes up within seconds and he's attacking.
Oh, it takes 8 people to stop Stephen from Canada from these mean tweets. And again, I am blocked on his Twitter. I can't tweet anything at him. I don't have alt Twitter accounts. He's blaming me for everybody that says anything negative, condescending, or challenges his scams or grifts. He's blaming me for all of those different people. Does this moron realize when he goes to court, he has to prove that I did all those things forensically? You can subpoena Twitter and you'll know that none of those replies to any of your Twitter threads, any of your live chats, or any of your YouTube videos came from my personal IP. I guarantee none of those posts came from my IP, which proves I didn't do those things. Unless I'm flying around the country using other people's computers and their Twitter accounts. Can you prove I did that? Like, you're a moron, David Wilcock. You really think you're going to walk into court and make this work out to your benefit? You are a moron. You better talk to a real lawyer. Here's one of his problems. He's getting his legal advice from Corey Good. And we've all seen what a legal genius Corey Good. He lost every lawsuit against his critics. Every one. He lost every lawsuit.
If you read any of the comments on my Twitter, you're probably
And by the way, it took years, but he lost them all.
going to see it. And it's the most scathing, horrible. I mean, he really, really hates me. But then it seems
mean tweets. It's so scathing. It's so horrible. People are tweeting mean shit at me and not letting me scam people in peace. All I want to do is scam morons on the internet out of their money in peace. And I would have gotten away with it if not for these damn kids, these truth seekers. Ha ha! Oh, suffer, Wilcock.
seems like he's doing it to everybody. So he basically just hates everybody. And I feel really sorry for him because that's a terrible way to live. If you hate everybody.
Oh, I don't hate anybody. Like I said earlier, I have very good emotional awareness. And, you know, I learned a long time ago, do you know what bothers people more than you letting them know that you hate them? Apathy, right? Apathy. It drives me even crazier. You know, I once had somebody in my life that was not healthy for me. And I cut ties with them, you know, and then years later, seeing them again, and they go like, oh, you must really hate me, huh? And I go, no, I mean, I'd have to care about you to hate you. That was like a knife to their chest. Let me say that again. I don't hate you. I'm apathetic towards you. And they're like, what? And I said, well, in order to hate you, I would have to care about you, and I don't. That is like a knife to somebody's chest. It's worse than hating them. I'm apathetic towards most people, Mr. Wilcock. I don't hate anybody.
And you're surrounded by people you hate. That's just a very miserable existence. And I feel sorry.
No. And let's put this on the record. Unlike David Wilcock, Wilcock, I'm surrounded by people that I love and that love me. I have a wonderful, loving family that I am the head of. I have a beautiful wife, a girl of my dreams I got to marry. I have 2 wonderful children. Of course, I have some challenges in my life. My oldest son is nonverbal autistic, but I love him to death. He is the kindest, gentlest, most loving human being I've ever met, even though he can barely speak. He can express his, emotion in other ways. I am surrounded by people that love me. I have a huge extended family from my wife. You know, I still have a little bit of family on my side, but mostly my wife's family. I have wonderful friends. I have good neighbors that are friends. I am literally surrounded by people that love me and that I also care for deeply and love. So don't you dare run around telling people, oh, he's surrounded by people he hates and that hate him, or what are you saying, dude? You're living by yourself in a multi-million-dollar mansion alone, you loser. I have a beautiful wife and beautiful children that bring such great joy to my life. Who the fuck are you to go on a public live stream and tell people that I hate everyone and everyone hates me? Or what kind of bullshit? You're the pathetic, sad loser that is living in a multi-million-dollar mansion by yourself. You are the pathetic, sad loser that had his wife leave him because you could not make her come, you low T loser. You half a man. You couldn't make her come, so she left you. And by the way, that's rumors and speculation. Take from that what you will, but I've heard it from several good sources. Apparently, Mr. Wilcock couldn't make Miss Wilcock orgasm. And she got tired of, being forced to use a cucumber to make herself get off. So she left you, David Wilcock. Don't you dare spread false rumors about me.
Sorry for him. I really do. So anyway, the bully.
Yeah, he feels sorry for me. Oh, I don't know. Like I said, I got a hot wife, beautiful family, lovely children, nice house, right? He feels sorry for me. I don't know, David. I think more people should feel sorry for you, loser.
Turns out not to be a threat anymore. Well, that's time looped because this past week, the Alliance totally exposed him.
No, nobody exposed me. What are you talking about? You're just making this shit up.
And now Twitter is going to change all these rules so that he can't keep doing what he was doing.
Okay. Where's the rules? Why don't you post them?
And even if maybe they were allowing it to happen somehow, they can't publicly admit that, and they have to now stand up against it. And we are going to get change. There's millions of people who are aware of this now.
Millions of people are aware of Stephen from Canada, the arch cyber criminal terrorist. It's so childish and stupid.
And apparently he's been making death threats to tons of top people.
Then why am I not arrested? If I'm making all these death threats, wouldn't somebody go to the police, and wouldn't I be forced to stop doing that? I'm not doing that. You're making this up, and you're pathetic. This is a sad, pathetic attempt, a desperate attempt of a grifter to stop the journalist that's been exposing his scams for years.
Sending weird packages to their house. That's one of the things they said.
Who said? Who said I'm sending packages? Name them. Let me confront this is America. You get to confront your accuser. If somebody's accusing me of sending suspicious packages, name them by name, David Wilcock, so that I may confront my accuser who falsely claimed that I'm sending packages to their homes.
Threatening packages as if it might have a bomb in it or something like that. I mean, It's freaking crazy.
And here is a very dangerous thing, because in the climate we live in, when a guy tells 500,000 people that this evil guy, Stephen in Pennsylvania, formerly of Canada, is sending suspicious packages that may be bombs in the mail, what do you think that's going to elicit? You're going to waste the time and resources of somebody like an investigator from Homeland Security or FBI or something, you moron. Very dangerous what he's doing, but this is how desperate he has become. And look at how the false allegations and accusations against me have escalated and escalated and escalated and escalated.
So it's perfectly in line with Goliath. Here's the whole Philistine army, and they send out one guy, and he's the one yelling at everybody, and he's the one that wants to fight everybody. That's what it is again. It's a very interesting time loop that correlates with this show, House of David, coming out. Plus the $7,000 he stole from you. Yes, we're going to have a Stephen survival checklist coming up, and I'm going to explain what I learned about how to protect yourself after 8 years of going through this for all the other influencers who are being plagued by this problem.
There are no other
As I said on April 26th, yesterday after my massage appointment, a man was looking for his loose dog in my yard. He was terrified. He was walking right near my house, and he got all scared because he thought I might shoot him. So he immediately put his hands up, started apologizing. Nobody's ever walked that close to my house before, but I wasn't even scared. I was in a good mood. Now, here's the thing. I had tried to cook a duck on Easter, and the duck had been in my fridge during the last big week-long blackout. Parts of the duck ended up being bad, so I had to throw the whole thing out.
He's just throwing rotting meat out in his yard like a caveman. Great.
Put the meat outside, and his dog had apparently smelled it and was eating it. And so that's why the dog ran away, was that it wanted that meat. So I was not startled, and he spoke to me
So not only is he feeding the moose, he's feeding rotten ducks to dogs. Nice.
before I saw him. So then Michael says, do not be the dog who runs around in the mud trying to find rotten meat to consume. I mean, holy crap. And it was right after this happened that I had unsealed this and read this, and I'm like, oh my God, It's literally time looped down to the day of he's describing what actually happened. And in when I was on the farm, the main meat that we had that was rotting was fish.
Oh,
But now
Jesus Christ. This is just too bizarre. All right, let's go to the next one. Hopefully the next one's, next one's a little
that will
shorter.
require you're beginning to change some of these habits, dietary habits.
Again, David Wilcock begs for money because he's broke, but then he admits that he's buying $300 worth of bison steaks.
Smoking
But
habits,
he's so broke that he's buying $300 worth of bison steaks in one shot at the supermarket.
etc., and begin to wean yourself away from sugar, white flour, heavier meat, greases, and fats of fried food. So again, I've just started cutting carbs and sugars, so this was amazingly time looped into my reality. The heavier meats definitely can be a no-no if they're conventional. So, for example,
beef.
Conventional
that's
red
brokies.
meat probably is going to clog your arteries, but that's why I get bison steak. I don't eat beef at all
because I'm rich.
because they mess with it. They shoot it up full of hormones and chemicals and all this crazy stuff. So I basically never eat any beef, but bison actually tastes better. Yes, it is more expensive. I got harassed by some guy in line because I had one bag of groceries. It was $300, and he's like, "Whoa, what do you got in the bag? Costs so much money." I said, "Bison steak, dude. It's the healthiest."
Yeah. He's complaining he's broke while he's literally eating like a king. You know, and I just wonder, the people that donate money to David Wilcock, can they afford $300 worth of bison steak a week? You know, it's something else. Robert P is here and gifted 5 Truth Seekers membership. Praise the cash, praise the cash. Always happy to see Robert P, the MVP tonight of Truth Seekers gifted memberships. Thank you for your kindness. Thank you for your generosity. Thank you for your support. And God bless you, Robert P, for your generous gifting of these memberships. Kisa got a free membership. Michael, formerly in Seattle, got a free membership. Kyle Kanaski got a free membership. Alex got a free membership. And your landlord all got a free membership. Thanks to the kindness, the generosity, and the continuing support of Robert P., one of the MVP, certainly tonight's MVP, of gifting these Truth Seekers memberships. Thank you for your kindness, your generosity, and support, and helping us to praise the cash, bitches!
Praise the cash, praise the cash, praise the cash. Thank you for your kindness. Thank you for your generosity. Praise the cash, praise the cash.
Very, very kind of you. Oh, wow, look at that. Talk about support. Something is here with $100. Thank you for your work exposing so many of these time-wasting grifters with $100 super chat. Oh, boy, thank you for your kindness, your generosity, and your support, and God bless you as well. And we'll have Davina. Thank you. Thank him, Davina.
Praise the cash, praise the cash, praise the cash. The blue chickens command you to praise the cash. Praise the cash, praise the cash.
There we go. Something. Boy, the biggest donation. I need a leaderboard like Darkside Phil. But Darkside Phil's is the loser board. We're going to call it the winner board. Something, and Robert P. and all of you people who have thrown some money in my hat tonight, you're all on the winner board. Thank you. And we've got Sunny Callie 11 with 10. My lame ex-husband likes Wilcock. Just got paid out, so I'm taking that loser's money and praising the cash with it. Suffer Wilcock and suffer Wilcock lovers. Oh, I'm sorry that your lame ex-husband likes David Wilcock. He must be gay, Sonny Callie, right? Your lame ex-husband. You could say it now. He's your ex-husband. You could call him gay now, right? And boy, he lost I bet you Sonny Callie is a hot California girl. They're all hot. I when I was in California, I was like, does every hot girl in America just move to California? Like, I don't think I saw a 5 the whole time I was there. It was all 7 or better. But God bless you, Sonny Callie, and best of luck with your new single life. I hope it works out for you well. Agent 47 is here. Says, why do you finance David's operation? Agent 47, I don't know what you mean by that. You're going to have to clarify. I don't finance any. I would never give him money. Sonny Callie says, he is so gay. And yes, I am hot. Well, that's good to know, Sonny Callie. God bless you. Hot California girl. I love it. All right, let's continue here. We got to get
doesn't have parasites. You know, I feel great. It's a very, very healing food, and it doesn't clog your arteries.
If you were spiritually enlightened, wouldn't you be a vegetarian? Even Corey Good made fun of him for eating meat. But it is what it is.
And as I say right here,
Wilcock has gone too far. Saying Stephen is making death threats is over the line. So how many times in one live stream did he lie and falsely say I'm threatening people's lives?
the original alias that Stephen was using against Ezra last year was Beloved Vinehawk. And so here they're talking about choking vines.
I was not Beloved Vinehawk. You know, you dumbass. You're going to have to prove in court that I was that Twitter account, and you can't because I wasn't. You know, this moron is handing me a slander lawsuit every week. He hands me another real, like, imagine being on a jury and you heard all this stuff that David Wilcock is saying about me falsely. Would you award me a whole bunch of money? I think most reasonable, rational people would.
So once again, the beings definitely know about Stephen, and they're comparing him to Goliath, which is very apt if it turns out he's the one yelling at everybody, just like he's the one yelling on behalf of the 250,000 man army. It's very, very interesting. So the choking vines that overgrow the signpost of the spirit, now we find out, yes.
So he's now accused me of being multiple different Twitter accounts all in one live stream that aren't me. He has no proof they're me. He has no evidence they're me. I guess he took a bath and piss again, and the angel told him that those accounts were me. I don't know.
He's been attacking and making death threats to everybody who gets famous.
No, I have not been attacking or making death threats to anybody.
Talking about this kind of stuff. I actually feel vindicated because now I know it isn't just my problem. It's everybody's problem.
Yeah.
All the top influencers are dealing with this.
He means the top grifters, right? All we go after is grifters here. We don't go after influencers. I don't know what he's talking about.
Guy. And now Twitter's going to do something about it.
Yeah, they're going to do something about it, but they're letting me just have a Twitter account after I'm sending death threats, you moron. If I was sending death threats, they'd suspend my account. They haven't. You know why? Because I'm not sending death threats. You're lying to people. And listen, it's important that we take a moment to realize that every time he lies, he's lying to 500,000 people over and over and over and over again.
Jesus do these things, so shall ye do them. And greater things, meaning this is the ascension. We're all going to have ascended abilities, walking on water.
Macario points something out great. David Wilcock says when we ascend, that we will be indestructible. So then why do we need to build fighter jets? On previous streams, Wilcock said that they will still need to fight evil when they ascend. Why have planes from this dimension then? Yeah, pretty good point. He says when we ascend, and Ascension's coming next month, we'll all be indestructible. Then why do you need to be working for a company that's making bombs and weapons, you moron, if you think Ascension's coming next month?
Lazarus being resurrected from the dead, water into wine, loaves and fishes for 5,000 people from one loaf and one fish. You will do these things and greater things, for I go unto my Father. And here's another one. This is Psalms 91, 11 through 12. Dost thou believeth that he hath given his angels charge concerning thee, that they might bear thee up? So that is Psalms 91.
Nothing like using verses from the Bible to scam people with, right?
And again, the idea here is this is ascension. The angels will bring you into your ascension. They're going to bear you up. They're going to bring you into your ascended body, and you will then be able to levitate, those who go through the first ascension.
Okay. And the first wave of ascension is coming next month, and we'll all be able to levitate. Does anybody realize another problem with David Wilcock's whole storyline? If ascension's coming next month and we're going to be able to levitate, why do we need hover cars? We'll just be able to levitate. We won't need hover cars, you moron.
First wave of ascension. So now I'm going to quote from Psalms 91:13, because it's also very, very relevant to like internet trolling and all that kind of stuff. Thou shalt tread upon the lion and the adder, the young lion and the dragon, which again symbolizes the Draco and the evil on earth. You will trample them under your feet.
David Wilcock is so scared of me. He's reading the Bible looking for verses that will like make him feel better. Loser.
And that is exactly what the dream said.
Loser.
So yeah, we needed Psalms 91:13 in there. Trampling the dragon under the feet means these evil reptilian aliens will be destroyed. The angels will bear you up. You'll get your ascended abilities, and then you will become indestructible.
Again, if we're going to become indestructible, why is your company building and manufacturing bombs? wouldn't, if we're indestructible, the bombs wouldn't work on us, right? And if we're all going to be able to levitate, then why do we need a hover car, you moron? You know, he's got major plot problems and he doesn't even realize it. And people in his live chat have asked about this specific issue. Like, if we're gonna levitate, if we're gonna all be able to levitate, then why do we need a hover car?
It was a computer that very much looked like he had customized it for himself with the screensaver of a
Macario says, so this stream was all about Steven. Everything leads back to him. David Wilcock needs to know there is no stopping what is happening. Stavati is a scam. Again, the money is coming in a couple of weeks. Stavati has certifications. They are working with the Navy and the Air Force. Dmitriev sued Stavati not because they took his money and paid off debt, but because Dmitriev watched Truth Seekers and Hidden in Plain Sight and then read all of our messages on X. This idiot is willing to spend $1 million. I hope he is paying someone to gather all of this information for him.
Spaceship. And again, this is very prophetic. A computer with a spaceship on it. That's exactly what we're doing. We're making hover car, UFO type designs with Stavati, and we're about to get money.
Yeah,
it could happen even within a couple weeks. I mean, it's very close now.
Yeah, a couple weeks, couple more weeks.
The fact that it was so fluid and did so many different things made us feel that it was advanced. That's this aircraft, folks. This is, again, very advanced.
It's not an aircraft. It's a plastic toy, you fucking moron.
4 can go into low Earth orbit space.
These are all claims, none of which he has proven.
It's faster. It's just everything about it is better than anything else that's out there right now. And we are going to get this into development. We're having meetings about how we're going to do that right now, which are really, really exciting. So we have a whole bunch of deals that are coming in. But
there's always deals coming in. There's always money coming in. But yet they're being sued by all their creditors. His aircraft company is literally being sued by their accountant for not paying their accountant's, bill. The accountant for the company had to sue them to get his money back. But yet there's always big deals and all these big things are happening. This is a sure sign of a pathological liar, my friends.
There's 3 of them that are really vectoring in fast now. We are definitely real. The military is working with us directly. We're directly working with the Navy. We're directly working with the Air Force. We've gotten our certifications. It's not a fake company, as Stephen is always trying to say.
It's not a fake company. Okay, well then show us some airplanes. And I don't mean plastic toys, you fucking moron. Show us a real airplane flying. Show us wind tunnel tests. Show us real prototypes. Show us videos of takeoffs and landings. If it's not a fake company, then why can't you do that? The company's been in business 30 years. You can't show us one airplane that you built and manufactured, taking off and landing and doing some test flights? And you can't. It is a fake company. And the investor suing you said in court documents that Stavati is an investment scam and a Ponzi scheme. And your company literally admitted it's a Ponzi scheme by saying, we were going to pay this old investor back, but we were waiting for new investment money to come in to pay the old investor. That's the literal definition of a Ponzi scheme and scam, David Wilcock.
He loves to tell us that we're fake, but he has no evidence to prove that. And
I have court documents that prove that. Your only income is from a garbage dumpster company. Your only income is from a sewage company that was dumping whatever fill is. Your literally only income of your aircraft company comes from a garbage dumpster company storing dumpsters. And then you had some income from a sewage company that was dumping sewage trucks on your property. And you say I have no evidence? What about the court documents that prove that a lot of your creditors are paying you or suing you guys for unpaid bills? What about the local municipality pulling all of your tax breaks because you didn't create those hundreds of jobs that you claimed that you were going to create? What about that editorial board of a Buffalo newspaper who basically called your company a scam? You say I have no evidence?
There's a great deal of evidence that we're real. Anyway, so somebody is tinkering with the computer I'm using. That, again, is prophetic of Stephen.
Okay, so somebody's fucking with his computer. I'm doing that too. So we can add me fucking with David Wilcock's computer to the list of false allegations. I categorically deny it. Could I do that? I mean, I do have a background in computer science, but I'm here to tell you, cards on the table. I've never attempted to hack David Wilcock's bank account or his home computers or any computers or his phone or anything like that. Never. It never happened. This is more delusional, fake allegations that he is placing against me.
He's trying to throw off our whole company. He's the reason why these people sued us. They believed what he
That's not true. The court documents prove that I had nothing to do with that investor suing them.
said online. They got mad and they filed a lawsuit because they said, oh my God, it's a fake company. Like, no, you guys got to do a little more research and remember that there are internet trolls and they lie about everything.
By the way, David Wilcock, because you've made all these false allegations against me, I've reached out to Dmitriev's attorney, and I'm going to be providing him with all the evidence that your Stavati Aerospace is a scam. All of the evidence that the company is an investment scam and a Ponzi scheme that isn't paying its creditors, that has no income, that's never produced a single product or service in the 30 years it's been in business, even though it keeps asking investors for money to create products and taking in. You guys took in $1 million from an investor and you didn't create any profit with that $1 million. You spent it all on what?
Everything. And that's what this is. It's a lie. So again, very prophetic. Then this military guy was there. He told us there was a flight simulator on the computer.
Remember, these are dreams of his from 1999. Somehow they're relevant now.
And he felt that it was really ahead of its time, but it could go to the arcade. So I did a video a few weeks ago of our aircraft, the SM-39, and we
their video looked like it was made on Windows 98. It was awesome.
did the flight simulations of it on a software called X-Plane. So this is totally prophetic. And as I said, Stephen has extensively tinkered with our reputation online, but he is not stopping us from getting funded. And I think the main reason he's mad about...
No, I'm not stopping them from getting funded. Your reputation as a scam company is stopping your company from getting funded. You're literally being sued by an investor that gave you $1 million. You spent his $1 million, didn't give him any of his money back, let alone the $5 million in profit you offered him for the initial $1 million investment. You're being sued by creditors that worked on your hangar and you never paid to the tune of tens of thousands of dollars. That's what's stopping you from getting funded. You guys are literally like, oh, I can't anymore with him.
that is that then we'll have the money to sue him. But again, I'm willing to plea bargain.
And here he mentions a plea bargain. Are you a criminal prosecutor? There's no plea bargains in civil cases. You're not a prosecutor. You're not the police. You can't offer me a plea bargain if you sue me, you dumb mother. He's mentioning plea bargains. This shows you what a moron he is. He doesn't even know the difference between a criminal court case and a civil court case. He has no power to have me criminally indicted, arrested, or offer me a plea bargain.
The main reason he's mad about that is that then we'll have the money to sue him. But again, I'm willing to plea bargain if he's actually going to do the right thing and stop attacking me and stop attacking other people and issue a public apology.
This guy who has accused me of terrorism, cyber stalking, harassment, being a Satan worshiper, being a child predator, stealing money from his bank account, sending people bombs in the mail, he's willing to forgive me if I issue a public apology. Yeah, hell will freeze over, David Wilcock, before I ever fucking apologize to you, you moron.
We won't necessarily send him to prison. But the death threats have to stop.
Yeah, again, how does David Wilcock have the power to send me to prison? Did he go to law school and become like a criminal prosecutor and I missed it? He literally just said that he's going to send me to prison. Come on.
To do the right thing and stop attacking me and stop attacking other people and issue a public apology, then we won't necessarily send him to prison. But the death threats have to stop. The harassment has to stop under all and any alien.
It never started. Forget about stopping these things. These things never started, David Wilcock. You can't prove I did any of that shit.
I don't think he's even capable of doing that. So very likely we're going to move forward with a lawsuit. I've already written most of it. We just need the cash. And I'm pissed off enough that I will spend $1 million on this lawsuit.
Oh, he's going to spend $1 million on this lawsuit. David, you don't have $1 million. In fact, you're fucking broke, dude. You're broke. You're begging your sugar daddy for loans and money to survive. You're shaking your ass for super chats, begging moron crystal hippie bitches to support you. You're broke. And don't you already owe the IRS $1 million plus? Isn't it $1.5 million? He owes the IRS $1.5 million. Don't you think that if you had $1 million, the IRS would take it from you? Because they could. Do you think the IRS is going to let you have $1 million and spend it on a lawsuit instead of giving that $1 million to them that you owe $1.5 million? Your own public statements, you said you owe $1.5 million to the IRS. You're on a payment plan. Do you think they're going to let you spend $1 million? And let's back this up, because this idiot says he's already written a lawsuit. If you've already written a lawsuit, what do you need a lawyer for? And what kind of a moron writes their own lawsuit and doesn't hire a lawyer to write the lawsuit? This lawsuit of his is going to go about as good as Corey Good's. Actually, it's going to make Corey Good look like a huge winner in court.
Aliases. I don't think he's even capable of doing that. So very likely we're going to move forward with a lawsuit. I've already written most of it. We just need the cash.
He's already written it. What lawyer wants you to write the lawsuit for him? You moron. None of this makes any sense because it's all fake. It's all theater for his dumb as rocks, old ass crystal hippie bitch audience.
And I'm pissed off enough that I will spend $1 million on this lawsuit.
No, he said he doesn't hate me, but yet he's willing to spend $1 million on a lawsuit against me. I would venture to say that if you're willing to spend $1 million to sue somebody into silence, you hate that person.
To get justice. That's what I feel. If he wants to cut a deal with us, we'll talk about that when we get there. But now is the time.
I'm not cutting a deal. I will cut no deal. The only deal I will accept is that you sign over everything you own to me in the countersuit. That's the deal that I will accept for all of this slander and this damage to my reputation and calling me a terrorist and falsely accusing me of getting you swatted. You know, the jury or the judge is going to get to watch the body cam footage. And of course, we've got the clips. We've got the clips of him saying 21 times in one live stream that I got him swatted. Then we've got the body cam footage that shows you were not swatted. The judge and the jury are going to see that, you fucking moron.
Needs to think about this, not later, because there's going to be a point where there's no return, and that's where we're headed to.
Yeah. And you notice he's such a big shot. He's going to spend $1 million to sue me. This crybaby, little low testosterone, I was going to use the F word, I can't do that, homosexual, ran from me in a Twitter Spaces. Dude, you can't even handle me in a Twitter space. You think you're going to handle me in court? And what are the optics of this going to play like for your crystal hippie bitch fan base? You're going to sue the father and caretaker, full-time caretaker of a nonverbal autistic child? You're going to sue me and cause my family harm and damage? Don't you think maybe the crystal hippie bitches will think that my family has enough to deal with without a frivolous lawsuit from a lunatic like you? But good luck. Good luck with this.
Lawsuit. I've already written most of it. We just need the cash.
Yeah, you have
and
no
I'm
cash. You're
pissed
broke.
off enough that I will spend $1 million on this lawsuit to get justice. That's what I feel. If he wants to cut a deal with us, we'll talk about that when we get there. But now is the time he needs to think about this.
I've already thought about it, and my decision is I will never apologize to you for factually and accurately exposing your decades-long history of scamming people. I will never apologize for that. Never. Never. There will be no deal, Mr. Wilcock.
Not later, because there's going to be a point where there's no return, and that's where we're headed to.
Oh, no return. Yeah, since July, he's been making these threats. Since July, he has made these threats. Oh, I think I lost my place. 1 second.
As IG...
Nope, we got that one already, right? And I guess it was the last one.
Angels will bear you...
The angels... Prophetic dream.
how I haven't felt satisfied with this current level of exposure. It's been very quiet. I do want to get back out there.
Yeah, here's one. The moron believes he can be president. This moron thinks he's going to be the president. Wait, was this the
Which is a
one?
major deal in his life. The most incredible jacket. I just love it.
Oh, geez, I lost my place now. Oh, wait a minute. I got it, I guess. I think. We got that
As
one.
IG,
We got this one.
there was a computer that very cut a deal with us. We'll
Yeah,
talk about
Okay, I found my place. I apologize, friends. We'll go to
which
the
is a
next
major
one.
deal in his life. He's hardly ever gone overseas anywhere. So, wow, I see two Japanese girls back in America seeing each other there for the first time. When I looked back to the game on the computer, the guy had reached a certain point
Yeah, he's trying to
where the
push
ship
the...
itself could launch
they're
a
building
huge
a
rocket
laser
every
again.
time it fired.
Oh, they're going to build a laser gun.
And this is prophetic of our company being about to launch with 3 different major deals all converging.
Yeah, they got big deals coming in. Sure, sure.
And we have a new thing that's never been outside of Area 51 before, a gas dynamic laser where you can get 100 shots a minute and you never
And there he basically says that Christopher Beskar worked at Area 51. No, he didn't, you fucking liar.
run out of ammunition. And again, it works as well as a huge rocket. Okay.
By the way, David Wilcock, if you sue me, I get to subpoena Christopher Beskar and I get to depose him for 8 hours. So we're going to ask him all about his work at the secret space program and building spaceships and lasers at Area 51. You fucking moron.
Okay, the time loops continue. The very next day, March 14th, it keeps on happening. Now we're at 8:13 a.m. I was in a resort environment like the Mohonk Mountain House.
Remember, all of these slides are about dreams he had in 1999. You know, so talk about bloated sense of self-important. How important do you have to be to spend an entire week making slides about dreams you had in 1999 like they mean something? You know, I mean, like, what an ego on this guy. Like, I had dreams in 1999 and they mean something and people should give me $333 because I made a lot of slides about these dreams I had. It is ridiculous. All right. 1 second. We'll continue.
To work at this beautiful Victorian resort hotel. And in this case, it had a beautiful, huge library of amazing books. This was a study-oriented, studious environment. I was evaluating certain people's creative products. And I eventually had an image of tires stacked up like a pyramid, all different sizes tapering upwards. So this is prophetic of our Stavati aircraft because we are going to have stacks of tires as we build these planes. And this is like my new pyramid project because, again, supposedly
More like pyramid scam, right? Like pyramid scheme.
Casey's past life built a pyramid. And then also in the show,
I'm surprised he doesn't have a pyramid scam yet. Like, give me money and I'm going to build a pyramid.
Goliath
I'm giving the grifter ideas now.
had built a pyramid of skulls in front of his lair in the valley when the Philistines went to
That's funny. I'm Goliath reincarnated. I don't remember ever building a pyramid of skulls.
deal with them and have
That's not in the Bible. That's from a movie, you fucking moron. That's not accurate. It's from a movie.
him fight for their army. There was definitely an inspirational speaker in this classroom towards the end. I forget what he was talking about, but he had many of the same quirks as I do. And again, the inspirational speaker is what I do now, but I wasn't doing it in 99. Joey was dissing
He's an inspirational speaker, David Wilcock. David Wilcock just said, I'm an inspirational speaker. That's what I do now.
people and trying to punch people in the face and body. And again, Joey was the other bully I had a year before Josh when I was in sixth
This guy's had a lot of bullies. I have a feeling this guy got locked in in his own locker and had his head put in a toilet a lot of times as a child. Anybody else get that vibe from him?
grade. And this is again prophetic of Stephen being epically exposed by Ezra this past week.
I wasn't exposed by Ezra, you fucking moron. You just made that up.
My intellectual friend Andy had done something that got all of the girls wanting his autograph. That's talking about me and how much you guys all love me. And you even give me these amazing, amazing Sizzle Jackets. I mean, hello. Dude, I feel so cool wearing this thing. Thank you, 7 Geometric 4.
He means he feels so gay wearing it, and he loves feeling gayer than he actually is. It gives him a hard on, right?
Live and thriving, a regular donor says, I just got home. I found a dead fish.
Yeah, this one's great. David suggests to his insane followers that Stephen left a rotten fish and a knife in someone's driveway. He keeps going further. He has already crossed the line.
Plus a butcher's knife covered in flies in my driveway. Right after you spoke about rotten fish. Well, that's an amazing time loop.
Buffalo Spunk, Steven never sleeps, apparently. His followers have to do a little math and realize how absurd this is at some point.
And again, it parallels the idea of Steven threatening everybody with death threats in front of their house. Hopefully that's not what that is in your case.
He is suggesting that I'm leaving rotten fish and butcher knives in his followers' driveways. Again, that's pretty dangerous, but it is what it is.
How I haven't felt satisfied with this current level of exposure. It's been very quiet. I do want to get back out there in front of live in-person audiences again. I haven't really...
Yeah, good luck. You're not getting booked anywhere. You won't get booked at Contact in the Desert. You're not getting booked at Conscious Life Expo or any of the big ones. You're going to be working like those little UFO conferences in like Kalamazoo, Michigan for $200, you fucking loser. And that's where you deserve.
Done that in many years. Since 2019 is the last time I did it regularly. And that will very likely be happening to me after the arrest. I think the Alliance is going to bring me on as like a...
Yeah, David Wilcock is saying that he could be president in this.
Spiritual advisor for the White House. Michael says I'm going to run...
Donald Trump is giving him a job, and Donald Trump is going to make him the alien ambassador. Dude, talk about delusional thinking, right? You know, I said yesterday that I really think he's displaying the signs of paranoid schizophrenia. Also, one of those traits is, you know, grandiose delusions. He's literally saying he's going to be the ambassador to the aliens for the Trump administration. They're going to give him a job and that he might become president, but it's okay. Let Donald Trump be president for now.
An embassy for their beings. If 47 wants to become 48 and have a third term, that's fine with me. I'm in no hurry to try to become president of the United States or anything like that. Go ahead and let him do it if he wants to do it. But
very nice.
I'd love to run the
to let the president be the president.
Embassy. I want to keep running my hover car company. I want to build the technology that gets us into space. Maybe I'll work as an ambassador with
yeah, if we're going to ascend next month, why do you need to be doing any of that shit?
These extraterrestrial beings. They do say they're going to return to the Earth. Down the road, who knows what's going to happen, but I just want to keep things as uncomplicated as possible. Al-Shiba Sekhmet said, David, you do look so great. Cabinet position, Galaxy Secretary of State, says Bravo Broccoli.
He's going to have a cabinet position in the Trump administration. Sure.
Broccoli, I don't know. I'm happy for whatever they want me to do. Even if it's like, you know, latrine boy, I'll be the latrine boy. I would like to be able to talk to people and help calm them down once they do the arrest, let you know that, yes, these people were satanic, but no, you don't have to worry about it. We're going to be fine. And hopefully the first wave of Ascension happens fairly soon after the arrest, but we don't know. It could be months. But
well, you said that the first wave of Ascension was coming in May of 2025. Now you're saying it could be months? He's kicking the can. He's giving himself more time to keep the scam going.
It's a very, very exciting thing. And again, I'm happy to help the Alliance in any way they could.
He's happy to help an imaginary organization that doesn't exist in any way that he could. Great.
I'm not looking for the president job. I mean, you know.
Oh, he doesn't want to be the president, right? Like as if that's even he thinks it's within the realm of possibility that he could become the president. Again, grandiose sense of self-importance and grandiose delusions of grandeur. It's a sign of schizophrenia. It's a sign of mental illness, David Wilcock. My God.
Then the same morning, 8:15, I wake up with another dream. The same dream continued. I'm back at school, and now it's talking about Stephen again. There was definitely an attack going on against me.
He's obsessed with me.
It was tough to defend myself from all sides.
I'm living in this guy's head rent-free.
This woman projected her thought essence or her consciousness into a rubber ball. The woman appears to represent Stephen. Yes, it's gender confused, but whatever.
Yeah, so here he's emasculating me, trying to say like I'm a trans woman somehow. Dude, no offense, but I will take a blood test and prove that I have higher testosterone than you any day of the week. You're about as manly as a 12-year-old girl, David Wilcock.
That's what dreams do. At first, she was just someone I had to watch out for. And as I say here, this is prophetic of the ongoing attacks And it just bounces and bounces and bounces like a rubber ball. It just keeps happening over and over and over again for 8 years. Every single thing I do, he attacks it like I'm this horrible person.
No, I attack his scams and I expose his scams. So I guess you've been scamming people for 8 years? Is that what you're saying?
We eventually magnetized the ball with some sort of energy that was intended to defeat her. Ooh, I had a dream just last night inviting me to meditate on the idea that Stephen might actually be at least a comparison to Goliath, if not his reincarnation.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely Goliath reincarnated.
Which the reading said was David's bully.
But this time I'm going to smash David like a bug.
There are many parallels we could talk about between the two, as I did. I wasn't going to mention it, but Michael wants me to. Goliath was being protected by the Philistines.
So imagine him sitting there all week writing these slides up. Like, yeah, this sounds good. Stephen is Goliath and I'm David.
He blasphemed God and he goaded King Saul's entire army to fight him for many days. So now the ball represents the stone that defeats Goliath from David's slingshot. We magnetized the ball with an energy intended to defeat her. So in this dream, I was going to stop the woman from attacking us with a magnetized rubber ball.
This makes sense.
David brought Goliath down with a round stone, here portrayed as this rubber ball charged with energy.
Rubber ball. It's rubber.
This lifetime, no physical violence is occurring, thankfully. Stephen's karma is indeed bouncing back like a rubber ball in a major way, because now there's so much exposure, the top levels of X will not be able to protect him if they were. Now, we don't.
Oh, yeah, Elon Musk is protecting me so that I can attack David Wilcock and ruin his scams. Come on, David Wilcock. And you can't magnetize a rubber ball, you moron. That's against the laws of physics. Rubber's not magnetizable, you moron.
Know if they were.
This is just pure drivel.
Because the guy came out and apologized and said, we're not doing anything like that. Now they have to prove it, which is good. I also knew we had gone around and placed a tiny amount of plastique in everyone's gun. This sounds familiar, doesn't it? With the right radio signal that would make the guns
sounds like James Bond shit
explode and create a small explosion to stop the guns from being able to fire. Well, this seems...
Buffalo Spunk says, in all of David's dreams, he's gay and whining about being bullied. You know what? I'm starting to believe that the time loops are real. Matt says, Stephen Cambion sounds so real, so cool, legit. Yeah, based. Wait, Stephen is the reanimated Goliath.
To be prophetic of the large-scale defeat of the DS. None of their guns are going to work. It's all going to blow up in their face, as well as the pager attack against Hamas from the small country last year. And you know what I think about that.
So throw a dig in at Israel, you anti-Semite.
What goes around comes around. Karma's a bitch. So this is talking about...
How can you be David, a Jew reincarnated, and be anti-Semitic at the same time? Make it make sense.
About the full-scale defeat of the DS, and it's time looped with something very real that happened last year in this war that took place. So then Michael comes in and makes some funny quotes. The endurance test, styrofoam containers. And I said, are you referring to the dietetic choices I made by going to Nawab Indian restaurant last night because my leftovers were in styrofoam containers? And then he says, better to...
Angels have nothing better to do than talk to David Wilcock about his fast food choices.
Be civic than cynical about
makes sense.
John Nevada wants you to bother someone else. So the way I interpret this is, again, the endurance test, styrofoam containers. Stephen is just attacking all the leftovers of my work. He really loves to get in there and eat those leftovers. John Nevada actually refers to Area 51 because it's in Nevada and the Alliance, who are now openly out there saying that they want him to bother someone else.
Then why am I still doing shows about you if I'm taking orders from the Alliance?
So this is very interesting. It's prophetic of them standing up to him, which only happened this past week.
Oh, yeah, the Alliance stood up to me in David Wilcock's land of make-believe.
John Nevada would represent Ezra in this case. Let's keep the food more strictly rationed for the time being so that we do not run into these problems. And this is exactly what I'm doing now, this carb and sugar-free diet.
Yeah, you ought to stay on that carb and sugar-free diet because you're really fat, David Wilcock. You are porking up, bro. And you're bald. He's bald, and he's fat, and he's gay.
This is also about rationing the information I put out so that trolls like Stephen do not know how or where.
He's rationing the information he puts out. He does a 5 or 6 hour live stream every week. That's
to
not
attack me.
He's not
Again, it's a big deal
anything.
because he's making constant death threats.
I've made no death threats, David Wilcock.
This is an ongoing and very
And
legit.
how dare this guy keep saying that I'm making death threats with no evidence or proof? You know, I'm just glad that I'm at this current stage in my life, because I'm sure there was a time in my younger years before my wife and children when I would have knocked this guy's teeth out. I really, and by the way, cards on the table, I'm well past my younger days where I would physically hurt someone for this kind of disrespect. But, you know, I grew up on the mean streets of Philly. We don't talk out our problems, we punch them out. Luckily, I have evolved since then, and I would never do anything to endanger my freedom and my life with my wife and children. But boy, there was a time when I might have hopped on a plane to straighten this motherfucker out, right?
legitimately serious issue. Everyone at least knows
And be clear, I have no plans to do that. I would never do that.
that this is who you are. It's talking about people realize I'm the real thing. You guys are watching the show.
Yeah, they realize you're the real thing. Sure.
So now you can refine your presentation a little bit more. And this just reminds me that Stephen literally stands alone like Goliath. Nobody else agrees with him.
Yeah, there's hundreds of people watching me right now, but nobody agrees with me. If they were not agreeing with me, David, I wouldn't have hundreds of people watching me right now. They're here to see you get felted and see your grift come crashing down. And I'm here for it, and so are they. So that's a lie. No one agrees with him. My view count and my live viewer count proves that that's a lie, David Wilcock.
We tailor-made a few refinements just for you. And again, this is a prophecy of the beautiful tuxedo.
Yeah. And Angel's got nothing better to do than to prophesize about David Wilcock getting a tuxedo jacket.
That I'm rocking right now. Woo, baby. It is tailored, you know. And so they said we tailor-made a few refinements just for you. It's prophetic of my new tuxedo, tailored to my...
It looks off the shelf to me. That's not a tailored jacket. He lied to his audience of 500,000 people. Again. All right, just a few more.
So now we get into this Stephen thing, and this is where it gets very, very interesting because, remember, a couple weeks ago, Ezra said he's ready to quit. I can't stand it every time.
And now he's basically claiming there's some vast criminal conspiracy, and Twitter is helping me to attack David Wilcock and these other influencers. This is a work of pure fiction.
My post, this kid attacks me like 10 times, and his name was Enterprising Desert Raven.
I was not that account. That's a separate person from me, David Wilcock. Again, you're conflating me with everybody on the internet who doesn't like you.
So again, the question that everybody was asking at first is, was he being protected by X? They now insist that the answer is no. I hope that's true. And even if it wasn't true, they're going to have to do it now. So he loves to put his own name in encoded.
And here's his proof that I was this other Twitter account. Here's his proof.
Ways. And so you can see that you have STVEN.
By the way, this kind of thing was his proof that I was a child predator too, because somehow something I wrote on the internet had the letters PDOE, you know, PDF file. Boy, I can't wait to get to court where he tells the judge and the jury, my proof that Stephen was this other Twitter account is that you can take the letters of Desert Raven and it spells Stephen somehow.
In order, and you also have the other E.
So childish.
In desert. On either side of the S in desert, you have extra E's. So yes, this is exactly what he would do to encode his first name in.
What I would do. You mean this is speculation? And I'm fine with him speculating as long as he says, I speculate that this is Stephen's account. Or, you know, I believe, not that it is. He's telling 500,000 people that I'm that account.
Into the name that he used. And, you know, the Raven is what eats the dead stuff. So he likes to try to, again, they called him the styrofoam container guy in Mike's time loop.
Yeah, and Angel is calling me the styrofoam container guy. Don't you think, David Wilcock, that an angel would be on the side of somebody that is protecting vulnerable people from con artists and scammers? And not on the side of the con artist and scammer? Like, there's a little bit of a plot hole here in your whole storyline. Why would an angel side with a proven con artist scammer that has been scamming vulnerable people on the internet for decades?
So yeah, my research concludes that this is not an accident. He does encode his own name into his code names in various ways. Or other things.
He's seeing my name everywhere. He sees Desert Raven and he looks at it and he goes, "Oh my God, Steven is in there. It's Steven. It's Steven, oh my God, it's Steven." He sees me everywhere. I have infected his mind like a virus, and that virus has taken hold, and it's getting worse and worse for him every week.
About himself. I've noticed this many times. So this is what actually got deleted, and so I want to be clear.
Yeah, this is interesting. This is the guy who was doing the community notes. David Wilcock previously said that I was the guy doing the community notes, but now somebody outed the guy who was actually doing those community notes that David Wilcock was blaming me for. Do you think he would correct himself and go, "Oh yeah, that wasn't Steven. This is this other guy somebody found"? No.
That now he and James Baxter have made up and everything's fine. Jay's apparently not guilty of anything like they thought. But this is what originally happened. It's all been taken down. I took pictures of it before it disappeared. Now, I didn't take the whole thread because I thought it would still exist. I had no idea it was about to vanish, so we can only read the front. But it says, "This is the face of the man ruining the community notes for everyone. None other."
Wait, I thought Steven, me, was the face of the man ruining the community notes. Previously, David Wilcock said it was me. Now it's somebody else.
The team lead himself, covering up a massive scandal inside community notes for well over a year. And once you hear about it, it's going to make your blood boil. And yeah, the worst attacks that I've been suffering from the same individual, the death threats, attacking our company, it has been going on for well over a year. It's gotten a lot worse.
It's a different guy. It's
now
not
we
me.
find out if you actually read the whole thread, he's making death threats. He's sending suspicious packages to people to make them think it's like something's going to blow up.
Oh, here we go with the
He
bombs
uses the
again.
same type of pattern. It's patterned behavior. He attacks all of the top influencers.
Yeah. So there we go. More false, completely and totally evidence-free, false, delusional allegations against me. David Wilcock, how long are you going to keep making up shit and blaming me for it?
Even attacked this
Now I'm
beautiful
getting blamed for community notes. I'm getting blamed for attacking other influencers on X. And by the way, if I was attacking other influencers, I would lose my Twitter account. I haven't. Popley Buzzley says, "Be careful about people. You would get in serious trouble for lying. Also, Stephen from Canada eats people." Yeah.
woman, Liz Churchill. And
Now he's saying that I'm this other person. We're up to like 3 different people on Twitter that he's blaming me for all of it. Desert Raven, the community notes guy. Now some person called this woman, Liz Churchill, who I don't even know. They called her a cunt, and he's blaming me for calling this lady a cunt. I did not call this lady a cunt, David Wilcock. I don't even know who the lady is. Why would I call a lady I don't even know a cunt? This doesn't make any sense, David Wilcock. I'm not calling random women on the internet cunts. I didn't do it. I am innocent.
Said that, all these terrible things about her and gave her a death threat in public. That was what really, really got everybody mad the most, was the death threat. And I've had many of them.
So if that's the face of the guy doing this and calling this lady a cunt, it's clearly not me. That's not me. How are you blaming me when they've already identified the guy who it was, apparently, and it's not me?
So that had 3.3 million views when I took a picture of it before it got taken down. Everybody started getting really mad at this guy, which it seems like it was undeserved. So again, wildly viral, 3.3 million people. Now they've made up, everything is fine. But at the time, people were saying horrible things about him. They believed he was responsible for this. I don't think he was.
Oh, so it wasn't this guy. Now you're just going to blame me with no evidence, no proof at all?
So he's now since apologized and said he had insufficient evidence. And I want to show you that. Dear X community, I want to publicly apologize to this individual for anybody, but whether they're taking advantage of all the loopholes in the system. He's taking advantage of all the loopholes in the system. So again, he probably got threatened with a massive lawsuit. So you really got to be careful if you're a big influencer. You don't just go running your mouth.
Yeah, listen to this. He actually says he probably got threatened with a lawsuit for making false allegations. If you're a big influencer, you got to be really careful and not lie about people or make false allegations without evidence. Pot kettle black? Come on, Wilcock.
threatened with a massive lawsuit. So you really got to be careful if you're a big influencer. You don't just go running your mouth. You got to have absolute evidence before you say anything to accuse anybody of anything.
You have to have absolute evidence before running your mouth to accuse anybody of anything. Says the guy who's accusing me of stealing money from his bank account, getting him swatted, extorting money from him, sending bombs in the mail, being a Satan worshiper, being a child PDF. He says you got to be very careful and have absolute evidence. So do you have this absolute evidence of all the false allegations you've made about me? Where's the evidence then, Wilcock? You have none, you moron.
And this apology was probably in lieu of him getting some kind of lawsuit, I would imagine. Because defamation is a big deal. If you lie about something, you say, well, I didn't really have the evidence, but I just said it anyway.
I didn't really have the evidence. I just said it anyway. Kind of like you accused me of getting you swatted and calling animal control on you with no evidence. Kind of like you've accused me of stealing money out of your bank account without any evidence. Kind of like you've accused me of being a terrorist with no evidence. Kind of like you've accused me of sending people bombs in the mail with no evidence. I can't believe that this doesn't register to him. He's doing all the things that he's sitting here saying you shouldn't do.
Because defamation is a big deal. If you lie about something, you say, well, I didn't really have the evidence, but I just said it anyway. You can get in massive trouble for that.
You can get in massive trouble for that.
Be fined millions of dollars in damages.
Yeah, Wilcock, you may be fined millions of dollars in damages.
So the entire thread and all the
get a judgment for millions of dollars in damages.
related ones have now been deleted, but I did take pictures of them before they disappeared. And so originally, going back 8 years ago, he was focusing on all of the top UFO influencers. That's how he started out. And I've been tracking it for 8 freaking years. And I went out publicly and talked about having been abused. He was actually laughing. He thought it was funny.
Yeah, and just to be clear, David Wilcock says he was butt-banged by reptilian aliens. I'm allowed to laugh at that. He basically said he was molested by reptilian aliens in front of all these different people in some kind of ritual satanic abuse. I laughed at that. You're right. I did laugh at that. It's funny.
This is typical of what he does to everybody.
No. So the reveal is Stephen is attacking all top influencers. I don't even know what to do with this anymore. You just got done saying that you can't say things unless you have absolute evidence of them, or you could get a lawsuit and lose millions of dollars. And meanwhile, you're saying I'm attacking all the top influencers. Then show the evidence that I'm doing that. Where's the evidence that I'm attacking any influencers? Where is the evidence, Wilcock? Show it. He can't and he won't because he's making this shit up.
And we now find out that all of the top people getting millions of views, anybody that stands up to any of the dark stuff they're doing, he's attacking everybody. And one of them was this woman, Liz Churchill.
It's
very sad.
I had to look this woman, Liz Churchill, up. I didn't even know who she was. But you know what, David Wilcock? I'm going to reach out to her and I'm going to ask her to come on my show. And her and I will have a talk about you claiming that I did those things to her. What are you going to say then, Mr. Wilcock?
Here's a picture of her. Obviously, you can see she's quite an attractive woman. Kind of looks like Angelina Jolie. Same
you don't
kind
like
of nose,
women,
lips,
you
mouth,
like men, so this is irrelevant.
and cheekbones. But he calls her an effing C word and that she should be put down like a vet would.
Yeah. I never called this woman a cunt. I don't even know who she is. I had to look her up, David.
Yeah, this sounds very familiar because he is totally obsessed with...
Let's just take a moment to unpack this. Some random Twitter account calls a woman, I don't want to keep saying that word, the C word, and David blames me. What is his evidence? Well, he mentions you should be put down like a dog, and Steven's obsessed with my dog's death. No, I'm not. I'm sad about your dog's death because you let your dog suffer for years without taking it to the vet.
With my dog having been put down by the vet, he's talked about it all the time. This is one of the places where he did. And so right away, he's trying...
One critic amongst thousands is not me. I'll have them on my show to prove I didn't make this post. But I agree with the posts. I'm allowed to have an opinion.
I'm going to say that he's not just the only guy, that there's thousands of people, one critic among thousands, which is not true. You crossed the line, mother effer. This is the type of abuse I've taken from this guy publicly.
I didn't write this post. I can have one critic among thousands on my show. That'll prove I didn't make this post. They did.
Before our team takes this stuff down. David, your dog Gurley suffered a horrible and painful death because you refused to take her to the vet for 3 years. You let her suffer
true.
every day and did nothing. You are a effing demonic a-hole who only cares about money, low-life con artist, and hideous human being.
Oh, jeez.
No, she died of old age at 16. She was basically fine, other than that she laid on the ground more than usual, which was a little weird. But then right at the end, right before I actually did take her
You
to
didn't take your dog to the vet the entire time you had that dog, David.
the vet, and they did put her
You're
down.
supposed to take a dog for regular checkups and visits to the vet. You didn't do it. You let the dog suffer and die a slow, painful death
And they told me, yeah,
before you finally put her down.
she's 16 years old. She has hip.
And it's just a coincidence that he put the dog down the day before Boulder County came to do a wellness check on the dog. He would have gotten some serious fines if they found that dog in that condition in his home, untreated by a veterinarian.
Dysplasia. For just a few
He
days
might have got criminally prosecuted for animal neglect or abuse.
before I took her to the vet, she started collapsing while she was walking. That was the only visible sign of trouble. In fact, I was going to put a video in here that I took of her just a couple days before. You can see she looks fine. All of this is defamation, lies, slander, and we're used to it. Again, I got a team of 8 people, and their job is
I didn't make that post, David Wilcock. So go after one critic among thousands. Subpoena Twitter, find his real name, and sue him for defamation then. Not that I wish that on him or anyone, but I didn't make that post. And Twitter records will prove that. You understand, if you sue me for slander, you're going to have to subpoena Twitter and prove that that account is linked to my IP address.
is just to take this stuff down.
And it isn't.
But this
It's a whole
shows how
different
nasty
person.
it can get. And then in the same thing where he threatened her
And again, this is mean tweets. That's what he's getting pissed off about.
with death and called her the C word, he riffed on the classic line that I publicized from the Colonel: play stupid games, win stupid prizes. And nobody was really saying this before that I heard of. Maybe it was out there, but I hadn't heard it being used.
Are you kidding me? He claims that he invented this phrase. He claims that he invented that phrase. Are you kidding me? He claims he invented the phrase, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. He just claimed he invented that phrase. Again, pathological liars lie about even stupid things that don't matter. He's actually saying, look, we can look it up. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Origin. We can Google that, David. The phrase origin is not definitively linked to one single source, but it's been in the zeitgeist for years. Taylor Swift popularized it in her song Miss Americana. So Taylor Swift popularized that phrase, not you, you liar. You just lied about it. He wants to take credit for everything. I originated this phrase. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. It's been around for ages.
Games, win stupid prizes. And nobody was really saying this before that I heard of. Maybe it was out there, but I hadn't heard it being used in our community until I publicized it from the Colonel. Everybody loved it, and now it's become a big zeitgeist.
He invented that phrase, friends. What a liar. What a liar. 2 to go.
So one of the things he said in the same letter where he threatened her life, which again, I couldn't take a picture of it because it's now gone.
Again, he's claiming that I did all these things to her. I'm going to get her on my show, David. And she's going to say that I didn't do that to her. You moron.
He said you can buy stupid prizes on Etsy. So both of these clues add evidence to it being Stephen, because I'm like the center of the obsession.
These are the what clues? There's clues that I called this woman a cunt? I did not call this woman a C word, David Wilcock.
Because I'm the messenger of, these angelic beings, and that really pisses him off.
Yeah, oh yeah. You're the messenger of scam beings. You're not the messenger of angels.
So I can't find the original, but believe me, he made the threat. Everybody got really pissed off.
Believe me, he made that threat.
And if you read these threads that no longer exist, but if you did read them,
Oh, I can't show you the evidence. I don't have any, but trust me, bro, it's Stephen that called this woman the C word and threatened her. No, I didn't.
It's the same tactics he uses on me. Everybody is suffering this. He's attacking everybody with community notes, and it actually dings your...
I have never written a community note, David Wilcock, you fucking moron among morons. You are the king moron of morons. Again, if this goes to a legal situation, you're going to have to subpoena Twitter and show the records that I wrote community notes. I've never written one community note, you stupid moron, you genius of the millennium. I never wrote a single community note on anything on Twitter. Never. Not once.
Post. It makes it much less popular, so this really does work effectively. He has multiple identities with the exact same behavior patterns and the same way of working.
This is his opinion.
Another one was Resplendent
proof of
Cedar
any of
Osprey,
this.
another alias. And the original one he attacked Ezra with, as we saw in the time loop, was the beloved Vinehawk.
Okay, so he's now accused me of being like 6 different people on Twitter. Yeah, I really think that he's losing his fucking mind. I really think that this guy needs like a wellness check. He needs a wellness check. He's clearly paranoid. He's clearly exhibiting the signs of a mental breakdown, seeing me everywhere. He's clearly got some mental problems.
And Michael talked about the choking vine. So Ezra's own video that he linked to
Yeah,
said...
he's going to walk in the court and go, and Angel talked about the choking vine. That means Steven was that Twitter account, Your Honor. Like, okay, all right, that's your evidence? Is that what you're going to go with, Mr. Wilcock? Yes, absolutely. And Angel told me Steven was that Twitter account.
You're getting an average of 10 attacks on every single post that he makes.
I've never replied to an Ezra post in my life.
And also very interesting, he's graduated from just UFOs.
Here's another one. Anybody that knows me would laugh at this. I am no fan of Big Pharma. Let's just leave it at that. I don't want to. I don't talk about that on my show. I don't want to get into it. I don't really want to discuss my stance. But it's enough to say that anybody seeing this slide that knows me well would laugh at me being somebody that would go after critics of Big Pharma. I'm a big fan of. I'm not even going to get into it. Let's just say that I'm no fan of Big Pharma, and anybody that knows me knows that.
He's going after the critics of the big medicine, and
I've literally done shows. Let's just unpack this just a little bit. I've literally done shows being hugely critical of the makers of OxyContin because of the opioid epidemic in the neighborhood that I grew up with. You can search my archive. Just search for opioid. I have hosted authors that are hugely critical of Big Pharma, specifically as to do with the makers of OxyContin. I have done shows attacking Big Pharma. David Wilcock, you moron. And you don't even know that. And here he is saying he goes after critics of Big Pharma. I've hosted as guests authors that were critics of Big Pharma on my show and agreed with them, you stupid, stupid moron.
all of the worst things that the DS is doing. If you criticize that, he is on your butt.
This is proof that he's a piss poor researcher. Maybe he should have checked my show archive before making this ridiculous claim. That's a slanderous statement right there.
He lies constantly. Everything that you do, he says you're a liar, you're a con artist, you're a fraud. He's constantly fabricating fake evidence that he says is real.
I'm fabricating fake evidence. You mean like police body cam footage that came from the Boulder County Sheriff's Office? I'm constantly fabricating fake evidence. You mean like court documents we got from Pacer? I'm constantly fabricating fake evidence. You mean like your own Charities 990 forms that are public records that you filed with the IRS? Are all those fabrications? You mean like police reports that we showed here on my show from the Boulder County Sheriff's Office? Is that all? I fabricated all of that? Wonderful.
He knows it's a lie, but he's doing it anyway. That's called defamation. How could all
as he's literally defaming me and lying, he said, that's called defamation. You better take some of your own advice, you dumb dickhead.
of our top influencers be guilty of lying at the same time. We're not. He's just paid to do this, obviously.
Oh, sure.
So as I
You
said,
realize that you're going to have to prove in court that somebody's paying me to do this, and I mean somebody other than my audience, right? You do realize you're going to have to prove this when you sue me with your $1 million lawsuit.
he's making death threats. He's apparently people.
This one is very troubling. He's telling people that I'm making death threats and sending suspicious packages that are being delivered to people's doors. This is extremely, extremely dangerous for him to be saying this stuff in today's climate, you know, with the anti-terrorism task force and all this shit and all the domestic terrorism and the, you know, mass shootings and all that stuff. I can't believe that he's just telling people this with no evidence whatsoever. You just said that I fabricate evidence as you're fabricating false claims against me with no evidence. Great, Wilcock, you genius.
Were saying in these threads, sending packages to people's houses. I would check them for fingerprints, although he's probably going to wear gloves now that I said that. But let's hope he stops doing this. It's really crazy.
Thanks. Yeah, Mr. Wilcock. Next time I send bombs, I'll be sure to wear gloves before I do it, you moron.
And again, this is terrorism.
And that's sarcasm, by the way. I have not ever and will never send a suspicious package to anyone. Full stop.
It could carry the death penalty. It's a very
here he's literally telling people that I'm a terrorist and I could get the death penalty. Let's back that up. He's telling people I'm a terrorist and I'm going to get the death penalty.
This is terrorism. It could carry the death penalty. It's a very serious crime. All of the top conservative influencers are now being victimized by him. I had no idea about that until this week. So then we saw, again, Vigilant had to issue a stunning public apology.
Who did he issue the apology to, though? You said I was doing the community notes. He apologized to some other guy that admitted he's doing the community notes, and that person is not me, Wilcock.
And we will read it after we survey more of this evidence that disappeared. And so the head moderator admits that he should not have made the block. That was one of the things that really fired this off. Millions of people got mad.
All right. One to go, I believe, my friends. We're down to the last bit of bullshit.
And we see here again that it was community notes are being compromised. And it said, right, this was Dr. Simon. Why does the community notes employee mass block conservatives while allowing these blank-backed manipulators to abuse the system and threaten anyone that doesn't agree? I got all the receipts. Let's dive in. And there was where he had blocked this particular individual.
What does this have to do with me? I'm not that person.
And
that person is the founding lead of Community Notes for X. He's employed at X. I don't work for Elon Musk. I don't work for X.
That was, again, Vigilant was one of the people who got blocked. All of this stuff actually led Ezra to come out in person. We've never heard his voice before. It was really amazing. I listened to almost the entire show. It lasted for like 5 hours and 15 minutes.
Yeah, and previously, moron David Wilcock said that Shadows of Ezra was Ezra Cohen, and that he was going to become the DIA director and arrest me. Well, now you've heard his voice. It's clearly not the voice of Ezra Cohen. Are you going to correct the record for your dumb as rocks followers? Or is Shadows of Ezra still going to become the DIA director and arrest me, David Wilcock, you moron?
Basically exactly what we're doing now. But it was published by Diligent Denizen, who sounded like he was pretty frickin' lit in this show. He definitely sounded drunk. That's okay, whatever. But I listened to almost the entire program, and it was
and he got his Q-tard boner out of this.
Mind-blowing to hear him speak when he did speak. I would have loved to have heard him speak a lot more. So people...
Well, you've heard him speak, so you know that Shadows of Ezra is not Ezra Cohen, as you have claimed continually over and over again for like a year now. He's not the Alliance Communications Director. He's not Ezra Cohen. He's not going to become the DIA Director. Ezra Cohen might, but not Shadows of Ezra. He's not going to arrest me. Why don't you correct the record, you dumb dickhead?
We're paying him compliments, and he retweeted these. I love hearing your authentic take. Thank you. Thank you for being awesome and keeping it real. You're what X is all supposed to be about. Both of these got taken down.
Yeah, here he is licking Ezra's balls. Shadows of Ezra's balls.
Now we find out that all this troll behavior does affect your visibility.
Yeah, I'm not leaving community notes. I mean, what else can I say? It's absolutely ridiculous that I have to constantly defend myself from these false allegations. He has no evidence of anything he's accused me of. All night tonight, I've showed you over and over and over again that he has no evidence of everything he's accusing me of. He's got exactly zero evidence. But are we supposed to be surprised? Because this guy spent 5 years grifting off of Corey Good's fake secret space program stories that had zero evidence, right? It's absolutely ridiculous that I have to waste a night of my life to just tell people, yeah, all that shit. And by the way, my phone blows up every week. Please don't send me a message. I'm aware. You don't need to send me a message. I'm aware of what he's saying. Review Tech Mongolia. I mean, if you look at Wilcock in a certain light, he does look like an ugly, bizarre version of Taylor Swift. Praise the Cambion and the cash. Thank you, Review Tech Mongolia. Very kind of you. Thank you for your kindness, generosity, and your support. Much, much appreciated. I'm checking in with the goal. We're pretty far off, so I'm good with that. I wanted tonight to be a quick one. It wasn't quite as quick as I thought it was going to be. There were more clips than I originally thought when I looked at them earlier. Thank you, Review Tech Mongolia. I'll take a few comments and questions from the live chat. Here we go. We have The Real Wayne says, Beth left David for a cucumber deep inside her. Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, she's got a cucumber deep inside her, all right. David allegedly blocks everyone. Now he's complaining, says Patty. You're right. Yeah, I'm going to be seeing cucumbers in my live chat for the rest of my life. Yeah, this is one of those things. So questions or comments for me, please put them in all capital letters. Got a little more time to share with you, but I'm going to be making I'm finally going to get to make a monthly show journal. And if you're a YouTube channel member or Patreon supporter, I posted a video earlier sharing a bunch of stuff about my new show, The Internet Insanity Circus. We'll take a moment to check in with the live chat over on Kick. I apologize for missing that so far. One moment. We want to give some shout outs to the Kick Chatters. Clydesdale is over there. Big Man's Gaming is over there. Winter Soldier is over there. Scopely CFO is over there. That's about it. So light on the Kick chat tonight, but we'll check in with the dashboard, see if we have any people to call out on Kick. For those unaware, we read every single super chat. We thank anybody who gifts a membership on YouTube, and we read anybody who gifts a subscriber or becomes a subscriber. Chief Fugi gifted 1 subscriber over on Kick. Thank you for your kindness. Thank you for your generosity. Thank you for the support. Much, much appreciated. Loving the Kick money, friends. It's like getting an extra paycheck. Thank you all so much for that. And the new show, which is there's a preview of the new show on Patreon and on the channel member section on YouTube. You're going to get a preview of the show. And I hope you enjoy that. Review Tech Mongolia says you should get links to go to the UFO conventions dressed as a cucumber and have her ask the speakers there if they know David Wilcock. Yeah, Dan Peters says, wow, give these guy dickhead money. Scammed you, dumbass. Official, leave it alone. The dumbass Cambion feeding on you, period. Official Mointer. I don't know what the hell you're saying, Dan. But welcome, I guess. Yeah, more cucumbers and more cucumbers, right? Yeah, cucumber salad. Victorian Greyjoy, probably not likely. Yeah, probably not likely. And yeah, somebody's asking when the next show is. Tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern. We start a little later on the pig roast nights. I need one night a week to run some errands. I have to get some materials for the cabin and some other things, so I'll be doing that tomorrow earlier. And then later at 9 p.m. Eastern, we're having another pig roast. We're going to be catching up with the piggy himself, right? I don't know what you're saying. Dan Peters is in here rabble rousing, I suppose. So I guess we have done our due diligence, and thank you for your kindness, generosity, and support. Thanks you all for your attendance. I've we've done our due diligence. I just want to, it's stupid that I have to waste a night of show here to address these false allegations. Like maybe he should start showing some evidence. Like, how am I supposed to debate some delusional loser who takes baths in his own piss to get superpowers, who's saying that I'm sending bombs and shit in the mail? He's saying I'm threatening all these people. I'm here to tell you, David Wilcock, I would be very careful what you say about me. You've already done an incredible amount of damage to my reputation. I'm a good person. I'm a father. I'm a husband. I'm an upstanding member of my community. I have no criminal background or criminal history. And you're telling people I'm some goddamn supervillain that is committing all these crimes. How many crimes are you going to accuse me of? He's desperate, friends. He is desperate. Yeah, I'm the BS artist. Okay. One second. So David Wilcock is so desperate to preserve his grift that he's willing to do virtually anything. He's willing to do virtually anything at this point. We've seen it. I mean, how's he going to escalate from this, right? He is so desperate to preserve his grift that he has invented a supervillain that he can blame for literally everything going wrong in his life. Maybe you ought to stop scamming people for a living and you won't have these problems, David Wilcock. Craig William, what do you think about Roger Lear, Turkey UFO, implants? And Dan Burrish is a complete and total fraud. Roger Lear is a complete and total fraud. Those weren't alien implants. There's proof positive of that. The guy was a podiatrist and a fan of aliens. He had no, surgical background to even be performing surgery on people. He's a foot doctor, right? The kind of guy that would like fix you if you had an ingrown toenail, help you. That guy's not qualified. And the Turkey UFO was a ship off in the distance. Dan, I paid your pimp for a sneaky Castro. You better deliver. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what that guy's problem is. Can't speak English, right? He said, I'm the BS artist. Okay. All right. So go listen to Wilcock and get your disclosure boner off. You're not getting that here. So we've done our due diligence. I'm going to bounce on out of here, friends. I'll take a moment to check in with the PayPal. For those unaware, you can also buy me a coffee or send a PayPal pledge to help support the show. We read each of those out. Just be sure to add a note so that we can read that out. Let's go over them. What is that? Oh, Spreaker paid me. I was like, wow, where did I get all that PayPal money? No, we've already called out. Nemesis Bex was the last PayPal pledger at $10 and said, let me read that one. Just showing my appreciation for the Wilcock and Greer shows. I like the way the show is going, and I think we forget sometimes how much time you have to put into each show so that we could get to see the best bits. Hours of repeated UFO grifter material. I don't envy you for that. So thank you, and as always, great show. Thank you, Nemesis Bex, the MVP of PayPal pledges. So yeah, we've done our due diligence. Lord Ludacris is here with a $1.99 super chat. Thank you very much. Awesome show. Keep exposing David and sue him. Well, like I said, if I have to choose between taking my children, my two boys, to Disneyland and wasting money on a lawyer to shut this clown up, I'm going to choose my children, Lord Ludacris, and let him flap his gums, right? He's about as credible as a crackhead, right? John says, I hope your loving is better than your English. Oh, get him, dude. Get him, right? Yeah, it's just one of those things. All right, we're going to go with the old school outro tonight. Some of you may remember this one. So we've done our due diligence, and that's all I got for you, friends. Until next time, my name is Stephen Cambian. Good night, and God bless all of you.